Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's huge. You know, that wasn't too long ago we were begging for this as a coaching group and trying to set up meetings with ESPN and all these big networks of what do we have to do to get on more. And now there's almost like arguments over who has rights to this game and who doesn't. So that, again, huge for our sport, and the fact that it can be on multiple networks all over the country. It's just going to continue to grow, and the viewership continues to go up every single year and every single big match.
Yeah, you know, we prepared to play well. Felt like that really there was 2 drives in the game we didn't, and then we got to stop late in the game. So I don't know. I would say it was more than that, but you know, we just didn't. We needed one more play, one more stop. There's no real consolation in playing good on defense and not winning. So the objective is to win.
I mean, it was unfortunate. We had momentum. You know, we were going to go score, and that game was going to end differently. We all know that. But the reality of it is our crowd was probably better after it happened. Our players didn't flinch, didn't blink. Credit to our defense for going out there and getting a stop and let them score on that turnover. And credit to TJ and our offense for going out there and just continuing to fight and continue to play. The plays were there. You know, and so that's going to be valuable experience for TJ. TJ was ready to go. He's a student of the game. Enjoy coaching him. It's going to obviously mean more now, you know, when you know you're that guy.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
Are you that guy?
What guy?
I don't know. The guy Dan Holgers is talking about. Yeah, if you're going to be that guy.
It's too early. Damn. 99 right out of the box. No.
It was more rhetorical. I was mostly just playing off of
It's fine.
Coach Holgo there.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
How we doing?
I gave you the what's up, DB. You didn't give me anything, so.
It's hey, what's up, DB? Hater. There are definitely a couple of distinct camps developing.
Oh, for sure.
And you can feel the stands, the vitriol, the sarcasm. Bit guy gets to further go into bits. You know, football head is gonna football head.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it is. I don't know, man. I don't even care so much. I said this yesterday. I don't even care so much about critical versus not critical. I do care a little bit about emotion versus emotional.
Agreed.
Just I think it's just me, man. And it's because it's what I would do with every sport. If I talk hockey, I want to know what I'm talking about. If I talk tennis, I want to know what I'm talking about. If I talk hoops, like I work hard, like I want to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If I talk baseball, I just think football is like this thing that we talk about in a vacuum, and it gets emotional without really knowing. They're just opinions.
Yeah.
Which should be fine. The problem is we get mad about it. Like just pull back and say, okay, hey, what am I seeing?
Yeah.
Right? When I have friends, or I would say associates, because sometimes I like, again, you make fun of me, but it's fine.
I would never make fun of you, DB.
Like sometimes I like people more than they like me.
You say that a lot. I don't know how often that's true.
The two people I'm talking about in particular, I think that's true.
Okay.
So I see people that I like bickering back and forth over social media.
Mm-hmm.
All they have to do is say, and I know one guy. So I love Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I have anybody that has listened to me for years knows I rock with Jake Sorensen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to continue to rock with Jake Sorensen.
Sure.
I didn't think he had a great weekend, but I love him. Right? I love Michael Rose-Ivy. Michael Rose-Ivy is more like my little brother.
Sure.
Jake is a guy I admire.
Okay.
Right? So we have different relationships. So when I watch this, I'm like, man, come on, you guys. Like, I know what MRI wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
MRI wants to say, hey, man, let's just talk ball. Keep emotions out of it. Jake's going to be like, man, I'm passionate. This is the way I feel. Okay. So I'm clearly not going to pick a side. But what I would say is you can't be this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be objective if objectivity is your goal
Mm-hmm.
without having knowledge.
I would agree.
It's just hard. Otherwise, it's just
your
what I
opinion.
feel.
Yeah.
It's what I see.
Which is fine,
Sure. It's absolutely okay.
but don't try and pass it off as objectivity.
That's the thing,
Right?
Because that's what we're starting to see.
That's
what we're starting to hear in across media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has these hot takes, right? They're not even hot takes. I have to be careful. And you can chastise me. You can get on me. Like, let me know if you feel like I'm leading you in directions that my words that I don't really mean.
888-638-4876.
I feel like camps are starting to develop. And I don't love it.
It feels that way.
I don't love it, but I understand it because I heard Coach Rule say something the other day, and I'm telling you, I cringe, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I hear him say things to the effect of, if you're not with us, F it. I'm only rocking with the guys that are for us.
Mm-hmm.
My heart is, I'm okay with that, right? You have 125 kids. You have, 60 brothers and sisters, his support staff. Like, you got to family this thing up. It's very hard in a position of leadership to go bunker mentality because you are very, very appreciative of, like you heard him talk about the fan base. So he's not alienating fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to protect them from emotional lack of objectivity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he wants to protect them from emotional lack of objectivity.
Because he doesn't mind criticism, right?
No, at all. Like we fight. I don't know if we fight. Like, can I just tell this story? Please don't be mad at me, Julie Rule. So I'm walking. We had some cousins that were in town,
mm-hmm.
and so we got them out on the field, and they were taking pictures, and they wanted to meet Emmett and whatever. So I'm coming back on the service elevator. I always take the service elevator. Why didn't you just go back to good morning?
I tried to rewind it, and then
Okay,
you're in the service elevator.
So I don't know if my timing was off. Jess and I do the pregame at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't know if my timing was off or what, or maybe Julie was just on a different schedule. So it's the same service elevator. It's the same guy. I see the same 7 people. We chop it up. We got this thing we do. Yada, yada. So I see Viv, Leona, and Julie, or Coach Rose's wife. And I'm like, oh, what's up, guys? We're talking. And she's like, I'm like, oh, shoot, what I do now. But sometimes she's just like that, so you don't really know. And she goes, what's up, pot stir?
She called you that?
That's what I said.
I think she got the wrong half of the duo.
I'm like, pot stir? She's like, hey, how you doing? Then she's cool again.
Yeah. But
you know me. I'm like,
I was you're like, where'd that come from?
Is she? Yeah.
Yeah. That one's going to stick with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To this day, it's still stuck with me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to hit her up. I have to have permission because just to text her because I don't like doing the whole text somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, oh, you know what you do. Good at it. But you know. I'm like, no, I don't. Like the last thing I want to do is stir the pot. I do like to provoke thought.
Yes, which
But
can be mistaken.
No, I am certainly not a pot stirrer.
No.
Like I don't like drama. Go ahead.
I was going to say,
Go ahead.
I think here's how I would distinguish those two things. Because from the outside, they can look similar. I think your intent is very different. Pot stirrers, in my mind, are people who will say things they don't even necessarily believe to get reactions out of people, or say things, even if they do believe them, knowing that it will get a reaction out of someone. To me, you're a thought provoker because you genuinely want people to think about how they're processing information, and you want to get to the bottom of how they got to their thinking.
Yeah.
Right? So from the outside, it can look similar, but the intents are very different.
Okay, fair.
That's all I would say. Please continue.
But so I'm like, well, what do you mean? And we chop it up. We're talking about some other things and the bye week and stuff. But then like the game unfolds. And then these opinions unfold. And it's just part of the deal. But there is something I think is very, very important.
Okay.
And this just is a testament to the kind of person that I think she is and why I admire her the way I do. Because I talk about her in a way that unless you know her, you just kind of don't understand. And Coach Rule will say things about her. And clearly it's his wife. It's their relationship. And I'm in uncharted water, so I probably need to be careful too because their business is their business. I'll just say this. She's super strong. And she's tough. And she's been through a lot. But I felt like I had kind of the green light when he was openly now telling the story about Bryant and her being in ICU for 16 days and her not being well and her carrying his ass through the UCLA days where she was the breadwinner. Like, I felt like it gave me body, like, oomph to kind of how I think about her because she's super strong. And so when she's like, she said something, it was kind of funny, and it gave me perspective. She said, look, in essence, she's not slapping my hand. She's shooting me straight. She's like, well, you guys are doing your thing. And I think she's talking about me and Coach Rule. And the world is carrying on. She said, did you ever stop and think to ask me how my last 3 weeks have been? My last month has been? And I'm telling you, all I could say is, no. Good point. You're right. You good? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you hear me, I'm not doing anything intentionally except to provide multiple perspectives and multiple vantage points. You can do with the information what you will. But those are the things that sometimes I find myself being in the deal that I'm not going to apologize for because I need those relationships. So I'm not going to apologize for stumbling in them. Right? Having the relationship I had with Bo cost me sometimes. Right? Having the relationship I had with Coach Solich cost me sometimes. And that's okay. It is. Because at the end of the day, there's parts of those relationships that aren't sports related. It's good for me because I need to learn to be a better man. So as I'm trying to grow and learn to be a better man, there's bits and pieces I want to take from people that I think I want. I want the ability to give not necessarily the middle finger, but I would like to care less about what people think. I would like to better be able to have emotions without being emotional. So I fast forward to like what I'm hearing in the media these last 10 days. Whether it's contract extension talk and it involves my friends, or it's contract extension talks and it involves my alma mater and Coach Rule, or the back and forth between, like, I get into it with my friends all the time. Like, I genuinely try to, whatever the relationship I have with guys like Lance, but it gets strained.
Sure.
Because we have contrasting thoughts. My neighbor, super, like that's my guy. It gets strained because. So, I say all that to say, not play the violin, but it's like last night, where I'm on. It's Big Red Wrap Up. We're talking about UCLA, and it's obviously 1993. They do a flashback. I'm just gonna peel back the curtain to my personality. So you just have to give me a second, because I'm gonna get to what you said about pot stirring versus
thought-provoking.
Yeah. So we're talking about UCLA, and it clearly elicits a certain feeling, right? For me.
Yeah.
Because it's super personal. I'm on the roadie. My roommate is LP. We win 14-13. It's ugly. There's big picture. There's a ton. But other people have a job to do. So they're just doing their job. At least that's what I have to hope. Because Severe's my guy. But it got a little uncomfortable. For me.
Did you know they were going to do it?
No. No.
Yeah.
So at that moment on live television, I have to make a decision. Do I just be strong and buck up? And because I'm not even going to hold you. Like, that series, that sequence, that event, like, helped shape my life. And it wasn't always to the positive, right? We had a bad stretch during that stretch personally. But these guys are just, I hope, doing their job. Now, would I have liked a heads up?
Would have been nice.
I mean, so this is how I really think. Am I being a baby? Because I always challenge myself to be better than my environment. So at that point, I'm going super. This is real time on television, and I'm like, gamification. Be better than this dude. I want to choke him. I do. I really do. Gamification. He's just doing his job. Like, I think he cares about me. It's not his job in that moment right now to care about me, or is it? I'm not going to get into him specifically.
No, I know.
This is not the forum for that.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how I arrived at what happened.
For sure.
At what I'm seeing this morning and last night, and what kept me up. Because I was like, man, I got to get more sleep. But I think this can help everybody in the media and the fan base as we get ready to go to UCLA. So, I'm internally, I'm pissed, like super mad. But the show goes on and it's fine. And we're off air at like 7:59. I'm probably out of there at 7:59 and 45 seconds.
I believe you.
So I'm, whatever. I'm gonna go home, and Zoe called and she's like, I want to wait for you. So I was like, oh, I'm cool. Then I just happened to peek at social media. Who has the snide comment? Bishop. So I'm like, is he rocking with me, or is he trying to be funny on social media?
At your expense?
At my expense.
Yeah.
Should I be mature enough to deal with that? Because there's only a handful of people that kind of know what goes with those events. Is it a bit? Are you for me?
Yeah.
Is it at my expense? I've moved on momentarily from those two and that shtick, that bit. Maybe it was unintentional, whatever. But what it forced me to do was take a look at all the information that I had been collecting the last 2 or 3 days. When I walked in on Monday and I said, is this more toxic than it's ever been? I asked you that.
Mhm.
It feels that way.
It does.
So the only way that I think we can be better productive and function is whether it's emotion or you want to be objective or you're just frustrated. Like, I ride with Headley Lamar.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey, man, we're just frustrated. What I want to say, but I tempered it down. I was like, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Mhm.
You can't say you've been a victim, but yet the program hasn't suffered, and think one is more important than the other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't like the fact that Coach Rule said he was coaching against entitlement. And we said to ourselves, well, what do they have to be entitled about? Well, what makes a free will choice of supporting something that you care about? What gives you the green light to feel as though you're entitled? Because that's what I heard. Hey, we're just frustrated. Hey, we're just tired of being abused. Hey, and I'm like, this is interesting. This is a nice little scientific experiment. What makes your feelings about what you're on the receiving of more important than their feelings on the receiving end of what they're getting? It goes against just my natural greater good.
Especially when
Does this make sense?
It does, especially when the team, the university, the people on the receiving end of our frustrations are not the ones who caused our frustrations. For the most part.
Now I want to be careful because I'm not going to tell people how they should feel.
Fair.
This exercise is to explain to people how outwardly displaying what you feel can impact what you surround yourself with.
For sure.
Like that's the beauty of the exercise, which is why I have to go to those uncomfortable places.
Yeah.
Of what happened last night on television. And then, like, I'm not going to kid you. Like, I have to look at those two guys differently now. And they couldn't care less, or maybe they care. But I'm just like, for me, the real process of it, I have to give conscious effort to. I have to look at that differently.
Yeah.
And so when I'm watching this unfold, whether it's Jake Sorensen or Michael Rose-Ivy or, I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty prevalent. Yeah.
And there's two distinct camps. There's a couple guys in the media that I avoid, and they have no idea why, and it's not their fault. I think they just think it's just our relationship, but it's not anymore. It's not anymore. So I don't want to be like that either.
Sure.
But I have earned the right, I think, to pick and choose what's for my health and what isn't. But I struggle with it because they're not doing anything to me. It's how they approach what they're doing for the greater good. Because I just think you have a responsibility. If you're going to disseminate information and you're going to put it out there, why not just handicap yourself with the facts as opposed to giving the information through the prism of how you feel about it?
So you hit something there that I think we got to rewind a little bit. Because you said something that I think you're assuming about because you operate that way that everybody else does, and I don't know that that's true. You said,
okay, fair.
You're talking about doing these things for the greater good. I don't know that everybody thinks about it that way. And I don't know if you really nailed down to it. Because to me, when you say that, I hear you want what's best for the university. You want what's best for the football program. You want what's best for the state. You want what's best for the players. You want what's best for Coach Rule and his family. Like, is that accurate? When you say for the greater good, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't think not everyone else necessarily in jobs like ours or fans or whoever else, I don't know that they use that lens.
Okay.
I think they think what's sometimes, whether they would put in these words or not, I think they think what's good for me. I feel bad because I didn't like what I saw on the football field. And I don't think they think, hey, how can the football team get better? I think they think, how can I not feel bad anymore? Well, then the football team needs to do this. Rather than, hey, how do I help improve the product? How do I help improve the fan experience? How do I help improve the university by doing my job? And listen, it's not necessarily our job to assist the university. I understand that. But as a fan, I want my job to make Nebraska better. I want my job to make fans better. In some little way, I want my job to make the program better. I think some people just think, how do I not be mad anymore? Or what is the thing that would make me not feel like this anymore? And that to me is you're starting at two very different places. Because I think a lot of the camps that are kind of being divided up is people who are just mad and tired.
I just don't want to go through this again.
I agree.
Right? Because what I would love for people to see. No, go ahead. You finish.
Well,
why didn't you just start with good morning? How we doing?
I said, what's up, DB?
Hurrdat.
I think there's portions of the fan base that we, instead of saying, hey, I want to not feel like this anymore, how does the university, the program, the players, everybody get better? It's, hey, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Football program, stop doing this to me. Mm-hmm. And so those, I think, they're pretty similar, actually, in the sense of I want to not have to feel like this anymore, but the approaches to it are very different. And somebody asked, hey, what's wrong with emotion? Nothing. Nothing's wrong with emotion.
No, I like emotion.
Emotion is great. Being emotional and acting emotionally can be toxic. That's the difference here. And listen, Coach Rule said that to us a year and a half ago, and it's been ringing in my head for 18 months straight, basically.
Yeah.
Having emotion versus being emotional. Totally different things, right? Having emotion is great. It shows you care. It shows you have passion for something. It shows that it matters to you. Having emotion is important. Not allowing your emotions to dictate your behavior, that's where I think the line needs to be drawn. And I'm not always very good at it, and I know not everybody else is always very good at it, but being aware of it and trying to do better is a big step in the right direction. I don't know that the fan bases and the camps, the people that act on one side, I don't think they've made that distinction yet between emotion and emotional. Because I think it's really easy to say, oh, it's about people that know football, about people that don't know football, or it's about X's and O's.
I want to say that, but it doesn't feel right because it's been this way for hundreds of years.
And honestly,
but we do have more access to information before we have hot takes.
Absolutely. I think the difference is because I'm not even in the same neighborhood as like a U or an MRI in terms of knowing the X's and O's of football. But I think the difference is when you have emotions but aren't acting emotionally, you want access to that information, so you go seek it out. That's the difference to me, because what's one of the very few things you like about me? I want to know better, right? I will ask questions to learn so I can be more well-equipped.
We are down to like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's just a handful. It's not a lot. But that's one of them, and it always has been. You like that I want to know, right? Instead of assuming I'm right. Listen, I've got as strong opinions as anybody. You know that, and I'm going to yell at people about it. But if you equip me with the information, I will allow those opinions to change. And I think that's the big difference, is making the distinction between being emotional and having emotions and being willing to let your emotions and therefore opinions be changed by new information. Those are the camps. I don't think it's knows football and doesn't know football. because then I'm in the wrong camp, and I don't like that. And I think I can't be the only one, right? That's my whole premise when we do this show. I can't be so weird that I'm the only one that doesn't know the answer to that question.
Do you know why I agree with you?
Why?
Because even, again, this is all I know, man, so I apologize. Like, there's this stretch where I'm on set last night, and I'm listening to a football guy.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Moore's played as good a football and knows as much football as anyone.
49er great, Jay Moore.
And I'm mad at what he said.
Yeah.
But what he said wasn't wrong. I wanted it through a different lens because I'm mad at what I feel. Right? So there's this cross. It's like Bone Thugs and Harmony. Right? Meet me at the crossroads. It's like I can be confrontational and combative. Or real time, I can rock with it and say, slow your emotions down. This is real time, cameras rolling. There is no downtime.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, if I can do it in a split second,
real time, no time to think,
then people should be able to do it when they're show prepping or before they hit send on social media or log on to a message board. And it's not even really good thinking. Like, I should know better, but it still affects the way that I think about you.
Sure.
That pisses me off.
That you allow it.
That I allow that to have to be that situation. Right? Because I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, Jay. So, all right, so quickly, let me think about a different way to say this without attacking his thoughts, because my respect for him. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he's not gonna be mad at me either way. We have a relationship where if we disagree, he's still gonna be like, man,
yeah, I'm
rolling with DB, right? And vice versa. But it still impacted the way that I feel. So I'm having a hard time reconciling. It's kind of what you said earlier, which is very enlightening. Because I would do something for somebody that way, it sometimes can bug me. It's not that I think they should think the same way.
It just bugs you that they don't.
It just bugs me that they don't.
Yeah, I get that.
That's what it is.
I get it.
I don't think you should think, because nobody's been through what I've been through from my perspective except me.
Sure.
Right? So
you have an entirely unique perspective about everything you process.
Yeah.
Same thing with me. Like, everybody's been through their own, so everybody technically has an entirely unique perspective.
So what I want people to do is, like, when they hear Coach Holgorsen, this really set me off. It's like when they hear Coach Holgorsen talk, they come with a certain amount of data. Or no. It's not even data, like numbers. They have a certain opinion about what they've seen.
Like reference points.
Versus what they heard yesterday. So then it controls what they say next.
It controls what they think next. They control what they say next. There can be a filter, and a lot of people don't use that filter.
Okay.
Because I think that's where the missing part is, right? They have their reference points for what they've seen. They hear what Coach Holgorsen says. That makes them think a certain thing. Some people don't take any additional steps between what they think and then what comes out of their mouth or out of their fingers or whatever. I think what we're talking about is, hey, does the thing I just thought make sense if I look at it in reference to other things? Or can I go collect more data to see if this is an accurate thought process or not? Or is that me being emotional? I think that's where there's a big disconnect. And there's been a couple people in the chat that brought things up. I
can't even read the chat, so I'm super far behind.
There's a lot going on. I will say one thing.
I'll catch up.
So I think I'm at the place where I can have emotions about the football team and not be emotional. Where I haven't been able to be very good at that yet is I then get emotional at the people that are emotional, right? So I haven't been able to remove myself from that part of it yet because I get frustrated when people call for jobs and things like that and whatever. But so that's like the next step for me personally is to not get emotional about the emotional people, right? That's like, it's getting very meta here, but like that's a hard thing for me to do because I think, okay, if I can process things this way, why can't someone else? You know, kind of with your thing, it's like, well, if I would do what's best for everyone, why aren't other people doing what's best for everyone?
Like Nebraska's going to beat UCLA on Saturday.
Mhm.
Are we going to be cool? Because I'm worried about me not letting other people off the hook.
Yeah.
For how they've acted during this stretch.
So like for keeping receipts and like going after people.
And I don't want to be like that.
Because that's very much how I am.
Because I don't want people doing that to me.
Yeah, for sure.
As a guy that's made a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
Like I don't want so
if you're a receipt keeper, you have to be really ready to eat it.
Yeah, I mean that's
which sucks sometimes.
So do you know what I
As
do you
a
know what I
receipt
rest
keeper?
on?
What's that?
Just like go do your own homework.
Mm-hmm.
So be an independent thinker. Then it gives me, this is super on it gives me a reason for forgiveness, not forgiveness, for like accepting if you didn't treat me a certain way, because I'll just say, well, you didn't know. So it protects me.
Sure.
Right?
And it kind of endears them.
That doesn't make, you know what I mean? So that's a struggle for me.
Yeah. And that type of behavior tends to endear itself to you when people are willing to go try and do their homework. Even if they land in a weird spot, you're like, well, I appreciate that they tried to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that Terrence says, so Ravi, you don't feel the X's and O's guys get emotional when they criticize fans for lack of knowledge.
They do though.
So that's why I didn't make that the camps.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't make it X's and O's versus not X's and O's.
So that's why sometimes that's a great
that's a fair point. That's why that's not
fair.
The camps.
That's why sometimes players and coaches can come across as very at fans.
Yeah, it's the Bill Callahan.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, Bo.
We got so mad at him.
Bo.
Yeah,
and I used to say, I said, you're hypersensitive and you're uber paranoid. Those two things cannot coexist in this state.
Mm-hmm.
It can't. So let's like process through that, right? And
you've brought that up to Rule publicly.
What'd I say?
You said I hope that the Carolina experience wouldn't make him too paranoid.
Yeah. I said it during
the sit down.
Because it did concern me.
Yeah.
Because do you know what it is?
What's that?
I just want if you give me the good piece of cheese reference, I'm gonna kill you. I'm just telling you right now.
I won't say it.
It's like a Rodney King moment. Like, I just want to get along because this thing is gonna get right. It is. It's just a gut feeling. I'm watching the process. I'm seeing these guys try to stay the course. And I think I'm afraid for people's true whatever to reveal themselves. And then I have to make a decision on whether we're riding together or not. Because Nebraska's going to get this right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen.
They just are. And it's a gut feeling. And I don't want you to have to do a 180 and then have me have to critique your intentions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love the fiscal commitment. I like the ability to work on the fly. I like the ability to not complain. I like the growth in people that are learning to fight that aren't fighters. I don't know if you guys know what it's like to coach people that aren't adults yet, that have kids, that have families, or come from places where it's really hard for them to receive male instruction because they've never heard a voice with predominant testosterone in their lives. Or sometimes people have it so good and have had it so good they can't receive criticism because they've never failed. Like all these things happen. But what we do is we say, well, that's why they pay you X amount, so do it. Even though what the task at hand is, it's daunting. And in the meantime, you're trying to be productive and win. So we play in both these worlds where we want the program to be indicative of what we believe in and look like what we believe in. Hey, don't be paying for people in the transfer portal. Hey, we're not going to be held hostage here. Hey, we're going to argue about extension, even though you got no new monies, because in Nebraska, we believe this, and what have we done to deserve this? And then the counter argument is, what are you going to tell me about my job? You don't spend one amount of time with these players or watch any, you just get this back and forth. And instead of saying, this is just how it is, this is how it's always been, this is how it's always going to be, why don't just individually you try to get better? Which is why I couldn't reconcile yesterday and last night. And the straw that broke the camel's back driving home, Gavin Felix is one of my favorite people of all time. Just a good-natured, good person. He's behind the scenes at Nebraska Public Media. I'm leaving. I'm at the door. Gavin says to me, he puts his arm on my shoulder. He says, DB, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. What's up? He said, I don't know, man. You don't look like yourself. I'm not mad at him because he probably is telling the truth.
You're mad that you let it show?
I'm mad that I let it show.
Yeah. You're mad that he found you out?
100%.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's the lens that I'm looking at all the information that people are disseminating now. That's just kind of where we're at.
Scott said something in the chat that I think.
My Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, you can share him. You talking about Hurrdat?
Yeah.
Okay, what?
So he said something that I think is one of the things that actually really bothers me about this situation.
What did he say?
He said, will winning cure all?
I don't want it to. That's what I'm afraid of.
So that's not even it. My thing is, the thing that I'm mad about is I don't think it will. I've seen people mad. I've seen people mad about wins too. That's the part that bothers me.
I live that.
Yeah.
So can I just tell you but that's like the part that's like fighting Kenny.
Yeah.
Because I heard my coach say, remember, I'm the guy that 3 months ago couldn't win the big one.
Yeah.
Or, we come back from UCLA and it's 14-13 and people are wondering what's wrong with us. I told you we won ugly and nobody liked it. Like a lot of that is just life.
Yeah.
So I want people to I want you to you need some seasoning. Because it's always going to be like that. And you have to be able to push through. So my only way to combat that, as opposed to telling you to think different, is just collect all the data you can. And then however you feel is how you feel. Because I don't want to tell you how to feel. But at least have the same reference point to give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. So if we're gonna critique a comment like, I don't know, pick one from Shane, find Holgerson's press conference and play. I'm gonna see if I can do this real time. Play any clip you want to from Dana.
Oh, it absolutely does. It was kind of one thing that I thought was missing last year when I got here. I got here about a year ago yesterday. And I do think we've improved in a lot of areas. One of Dylan tried to be that guy last year and he wasn't ready to do it, and that took a toll on him. And he had to hit that reset button when I got here. And I think he did a good job of that. But now I think we have good, strong, older presence guys.
Okay, kill it. How many different ways could we take that comment? I didn't even know what he's going to play, but let's just play the. I mean, if I believe in Dana, what do you think I hear?
I hear that he came in a year ago and Dylan wasn't ready, and all of a sudden he is ready. So now I believe that since TJ's been with Dana this whole time, that TJ's going to be ready, and that's probably where I would go.
If I don't like Dana, or I'm mad at the offense, or Dana just hasn't settled in, or he's been the biggest disappointment, if that's how I feel since he's been here, how do I hear that?
I'll be like, well, Dylan hasn't really been any better in Big Ten play this year than he was last year. So why is a different true freshman going to try and be different here? And if TJ Latif does play well, then why wasn't he starting over Dylan
That's
in the
fair,
first
right?
place? Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know what he was going to play either. That's off the top of my head.
That's kind of where we're at. So what I'm hoping is that even when Nebraska does turn the corner, and I don't know what turn the corner looks like, other than we won't be having these conversations about it won't be a line of demarcation when they're bowl eligible.
Sure.
I don't care what the schedule is next year, because that's like the new thing. Right.
Apparently.
Last 2 weeks, man, they're scheduled next week.
I don't even know who's going to be on any of those teams. I don't care.
So
Talk to me in June.
I want to get past that. I want to be able to hear information and not have it be based on how I feel. Do you know why? Because I want this is selfish. So don't let me fool you into thinking I'm about the greater good, even though I really am, because I'm going to give you a selfish perspective.
Sure.
The selfish perspective is I want people to do what I did last night listening to Severe and Bishop.
You want them to take a beat.
I want to process the information and leave it where it is without my feelings about said situation dictating my behavior.
And that is the difference between having emotions and being emotional. You had emotions in that moment, correct? You felt a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
Did those emotions dictate your behavior?
No.
No, they did not. That's the point, right? And so Jimmy actually brought up something I think here that's really important about this discussion. And it's why I went to the greater good thing. And
I think I'm kind of rocking with Jimmy.
Yeah, he seems – I haven't seen him a ton in here before. I think he might be new-ish. But this is why I picked at the greater good comment you made earlier, that you can't assume everyone's starting there. Because he said something I think that's actually really important and more true than he realizes.
I'm going to need my glasses right. This thing is smoking. All I keep seeing is these comments.
He says,
scrolling.
We joke that shows are boring when Nebraska wins. He follows it up with some of the reaction shows are boring after a win. And you know what? You know who knows that? People who do those shows. The people who do those shows, the people who do our jobs, other people that do our jobs know that.
Yeah.
They know that drama is engaging. Dank brings up an example of this. He says, I live in Portland. Some people would like you to believe that this place is burning to the ground. He says, there's literally nothing going on here. I live here, right? The content that keeps people engaged doesn't necessarily match reality.
Okay. Hang on. When people call me by name, it gets my attention. So hold that thought. You're going to ask me why I'm starting with Nortec. I just am. Damon, why didn't you get triggered when your boy, Michael Severe, brought the same thing I did, but took it further by saying EJ pushed the defender in? Okay.
This is why we don't start with Nortec. It's fine. Go ahead.
I'm not even going to defend Severe at this moment, but what I will say about that objectively is just listen to what he said about the actual tackle that happened on Dylan. He took it 5 steps further than I ever did about what that tackle was. So I don't know Nortec, except for there's a time and place for everything, and to be combative and to push back and to hold people accountable like it's a feel thing. So maybe I let that one ride in the moment. It's certainly not an indictment of how I feel about my sentiments or how I feel about Severe. That's the best way that I can answer that question. I could just say, listen to what he thought about that tackle. And I'm sure somebody's smarter than us, Shane or Austin, well, Austin isn't smarter than Shane. Suave. Like, you can find the clip of Severe talking about the tackle yesterday on this very channel.
Yeah.
And then that's why I probably didn't give pushback. That Nortec, that's a prime example of, if you have all the information, you don't put yourself out there in the chat to ask this question and even use caps. Like, it doesn't really make you look smarter or more profound. It just means that you didn't listen to the same thing that everybody else did because of the prism that you want to view it through. Not an indictment of your character. I'm just telling you exactly what happened, because what Severe thought about the tackle, he actually said. You don't have to ask me about why I got triggered or didn't get triggered. That's it.
Let's take a quick break here. Been through a lot in the first 15 minutes of the show here. So let's take a little break, take a little breather, and we'll get to.
There's my man.
We'll get to the rest of the show here in a little bit. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be right back.
I think Danny does a really good job as a head coach, giving us credit where credit is due. So we've talked about it before every game. We smell the roses, really enjoy it for what it is, and we stay very present. And I really appreciate that from Danny, because in the Big Ten and in every single conference and at this high of a level, you can get really caught up in the monotony of things, and winning can feel more relieving than exciting. And Danny does a really good job letting us know that regardless of the win, like a win in the Big Ten is a really big deal, regardless of who it's against. So she does a really good job giving us credit and letting us know that wins aren't easy and we need to celebrate it and obviously stay focused on the end goal. But I think that it helps us stay motivated throughout the season, because we know that what we're doing is not easy, and she makes us feel very validated in it. So one game at a time, one win at a time, celebrate it, take it for what it is, and then just take it one day at a time, like I said.
At Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, you always got to be prepared for that. I mean, it's football, you know. I mean, it's unfortunately a part of the game. Obviously disappointed for Dylan, man. I mean, I've been in this situation before where, I think it was 2017, Will Greer broke his finger, and the people saw it on the Jumbotron, and so we were beating Texas by like 10, and it just took all the air out of everything, the crowd, the players, we lost that game and, didn't finish that year the way that we thought we would, I did not feel that one bit in this game, okay? Dylan was incredible on the sidelines. I mean, it was unfortunate. We had momentum. We were going to go score, and that game was going to end differently. We all know that. But the reality of it is our crowd was probably better after it happened. Our players didn't flinch, didn't blink. Credit to our defense for going out there and getting a stop, didn't let them score on that turnover.
to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. And we've got TK on the line, wants to talk
What does he want this morning?
Before we talk to our friend Brian Christopherson. TK, what's going on, buddy?
Coach, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, fellas.
How we doing?
How we doing?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Another day in paradise.
From your lips to God's ears.
Now, so I know you guys gotta get to the commercial break quick, but
We don't take commercials around here. We only read endorsements and sponsor advertising. There are no commercials.
that's not true. I watch every day.
He said that's not true. The devil's in the details, Coach.
So I got a question. Well, we'll start with EJ because this is, I guess, probably going to be more interesting to most people. Figure there's only one person who I have easy access to who has a decent amount of knowledge about how somebody would think. And this is not an original thought, but if you're EJ, do you leave?
Wait. Which EJ?
Do you go to the draft?
Oh, Emmett?
Oh.
Yeah. Emmett Johnson. Sorry. I'll take my victory lap about him after he gets his all Big Ten award honors, and we'll get to have a whole segment where TK was really smart and all that stuff later.
All right. So what? All right. Talk to me again.
Do you think, just pulling from your experience,
Okay.
and Ravi, you've seen a lot of this too, like with the life cycle of running backs, they take lots and lots of damage. If you're EJ, how hard is it not to try and go to the NFL this after the season?
I think it's a fair question. Somebody actually asked me this yesterday, TK. And I think a couple things matter here. Number one, this is EJ's first year as a full-time starter, right? So the amount of wear and tear for a typical redshirt junior is not the same. So I think that matters here. I think the other thing that matters is there's a pretty decent chance that EJ could make more money here next year than in the NFL. And so if you're looking at a business financial future, I think you have to weigh those two things, because let's say he's I'm just throwing a dart here, like a 4th round pick. Let's say he's a 4th round pick. That's not going to be huge money. And there's no guarantees of future money either. If he comes back to Nebraska without a ton of wear and tear for only being a 1-year starter, maybe that makes more sense to him, even if you're just looking at it financially. That's how I would weigh it.
That's fair.
Listen, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
If I'm EJ. Number one, risk reward for injury. I think he's laid it on the line. I'm not sure what.
Yes.
I'm not sure. He'd have to decide. I think the hard part for him isn't financial. I think the hard part for him is, does he want to see it through? So I wouldn't fault him either. I wouldn't fault him either way, because I think fiscally it's a wash, right? He's still branding, he's doing his thing, he's beloved. So he'd have to pit it against. EJ would have to pit it against what do I have left to accomplish versus on both sides. Is what do I have left to accomplish at Nebraska versus what are my goals and aspirations when I was growing up trying to be a running back. Yeah, I don't. You know what I mean? I think that's what it comes down to.
And I think that the specter of Amir Abdullah weighs very much on this discussion for both sides.
How so?
Because Amir came back that last year. He didn't have to. He could have went to the NFL and gotten drafted. But
I mean, maybe
he had the opportunity. Well, okay.
He put himself in a much better position coming back.
Correct. He also risked himself in getting hurt and putting a lot more mileage on him, on his body, which negatively affected his first couple of years in the NFL.
Yeah, so it's always interesting. It's like the draft grade. We think one thing,
Mm-hmm.
the draft grades tell you another. So I don't want to speculate either way, except for the only thing I can say safely is by him coming back, he enhanced his draft stock.
Yeah.
I don't know what his draft grade was. No, I'm with you. I got no problem.
And then quickly on Husker volleyball.
Yeah.
Is this team better next year?
Oh, jeez.
It's already completely disrespectful. It's only taken this long to then be the consensus number one overall team for voting purposes.
TK,
completely disrespectful.
TK, they got to complete the deal before we have that conversation.
I understand that, but my brain's like, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six.
All right, LeBron.
Because Rebecca Alec, amazing. She's so underrated for how good she is. She's so underrated, and she's a great role model for people. She does a great job in the community, and I don't like using the word but, and they are struggling to keep her out there because of just how much good stuff they have at the middles.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you just get to play with your backups for most of set 3 against ranked teams, come on.
No, I'm with you.
I think somebody said, I can't remember who it was, so I apologize, but they said, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's 2 top 10 teams in Lincoln.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think that was Jeff yesterday.
The coach in me just won't let me think like that.
Oh, yeah, Jess said it yesterday. You're right, TK. Appreciate that. Appreciate the call, TK. Let's not worry about next year. If I'm going to chastise people for talking about 2026 football schedule, I'm also going to say let's not talk about next year's volleyball in the middle of this thing either. Is that fair? Say, hey, well, let's wait till the season's over. Let's wait.
I'm cool.
Let's wait to see what happens. What's happening now is we're going to talk to our friend Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. BC, what's going on, buddy?
How are you guys doing?
What's up, B?
We're having a fun
Oh,
morning.
not a lot.
I'm pulling my Rodney King without the ass whipping. No pun intended. I just want to all get along. That's all. Can we all just
get along with you, buddy.
Hey, where were you the other day?
Where was I?
No, I did see you.
I'll say, BC, is this your fault?
No.
Is this your fault?
No, BC.
Okay.
BC
You put your arm around me.
I did.
Like we were good friends.
I did.
Yeah.
I leaned into it. I was miffed by my elevator ride up. I was still shook. I needed some levity, so I appreciate you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be your guy's friend.
I got off the – listen, I told a funny story about riding the elevator with Coach Rule's wife and his daughters, and you know the first thing my dumb butt did is this not the most DB thing ever. I had my Yeti, and it was full of ice, and I was kind of traumatized on the ride up and the wait, and the first thing I did getting off the elevator was spill my tumbler. The whole thing just spilled on the floor at the northern end of the press box. Oof. Is that not something I would do, BC?
That doesn't sound like you. I don't know you as a fumbler. How many fumbles did you have in your Husker career?
Well, too many if we're going back to Pasadena in 1993. So not that I remember.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Me neither.
I don't.
Me neither.
Good.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
I know the game, but I don't remember the fumble. So we'll pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, 14-13. That's all I know. Yeah, it was so embarrassing. The ladies that were getting ready to go into the skybox, and she goes, "That's just so unlike you. Are you nervous for the game today?" And I was like, that ain't it. I just tell on myself constantly. It's funny. Anyway, so B, how do you think these guys? I'm curious. How do you think they reconcile knowing a good portion of that staff, if not all of them? I think everybody but Coach I don't want to put words in his mouth because I don't know. I think Coach Eckler is probably not as encouraged with the unit development as maybe Holgerson and Butler. So if we're operating under that assumption, How do you think they balance knowing they played well in a lot of areas, removed the injury, know you didn't win, and still lay it on the line this week to go to Pasadena?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I say it's a good question because I asked John Butler kind of that question the other day, so that's why I'm complimenting it. I
See,
asked
I'm
him about
Team BC, for BC.
Yeah, but just about balancing, obviously the disappointment of defeat with the fact that what Matt Rule said on Monday, I do think applies, that a lot of guys actually played their best games. And it was interesting how Butler spoke about it. We'll just go from his end first with that defense. And as you go through the list of names, Winery, Guthrie, Donnie Jones had a really good game. You got Shavers out there. So you're talking about, 4 or 5 guys that he named off, that are either redshirt freshmen or second year type players. And, they're having some of their best games. And I think you just put that in front of those guys and say, it's there. Like, see it, there it is. It's on this play. It's on that play. Let's just keep building on it. And I know people get tired of the process word outside the walls, but I think if you can get your guys to diligently go along with that drumbeat of how it can make a difference, and when they can actually see it then on film against a team like USC, I do think that can encourage guys going into this week. Like, yeah, let's get after it again. Let's take it one step further now. And it does sound like the Sunday back after a disappointing game was really good for this team, and Butler mentioned that as well. Like, you can kind of maybe tell, like, are they too beat up? Are they mentally down? And they got after it again. And so that's a good sign that at least some guys individually they're seeing the progress in their own games. And just because you took the loss doesn't mean you're not eager to go out there and see as a player if you can't now go, one rung higher up the ladder this week.
BC, as you're...
I didn't mean to. That actually annoys me. I'm going to stop doing that. I apologize. Sorry, BC. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Carry on. What? Oh, jeez. All right, I'm out on DB, out on BC, too. All right, carry on, wayward sons.
Don't worry. Lots of people are getting the axe today, BC.
That's what I heard. Anyway, go on.
As you're processing what you saw on Saturday, what you've heard the first couple days of this week, and what you know and have seen of TJ Latif, whether it's as a recruit or what we've seen so far from him as a Husker, do you have any idea what to expect on Saturday?
No, I don't. But that's kind of the fun part, I guess. But I think he's got that type of temperament that gives him a fighting shot at doing well. And like he's got a humility about him, and he's got a learner's brain. Like, he came in here and he's that type of quarterback who's like, I'm going to stand behind Dylan every play, and what's he doing? I want to be able to try to do that too. And I think Glenn Thomas sometimes doesn't get enough credit probably for how, with those guys in that room, holds everybody to a similar standard. Like, okay, this is where QB1 is and what he's trying to do today. So let's see if you can do that too. And some of the pre-snap stuff and everything that goes with it. And I think, the coaches and his teammates have set a good tone within their walls about this. Everybody else is going to make it about TJ. For you, it's just about elevate your game. Do your part and take the stress off the kid and just let him go do his job then. And my favorite quote of all was Rule saying, you think you're a good coach, Matt? You think you're a good coach, Dana? Like, let's take a freshman quarterback, on the road and win some games. And then he had that part where he said, he's a starting quarterback in Nebraska. We got TJ Latif. And I think, you kind of put that in the air and get a little bounce. And a guy step who I think already has confidence in himself, but get that in the mind, like you're QB1 now, for at least the rest of this season. Go ride with it, and these guys got your back. And I think they've at least set a good template sort of on how to attack it as a team and their mindset going into this game.
When you're looking at kind of critical moments, everybody points to the injury, and rightfully so, right? That's your starting quarterback in terms of preparation. But if Nebraska's going to rise to the occasion and kind of rally around a good player, because Latif is capable of being a good player, a really good player. What position group or side of the ball do you start with if you're going to rally for the homecoming?
Yeah. Probably the simple answer I'm giving, and I'm a simple mind, it's the O-line. I mean, it just like I feel like that group has felt like in recent weeks, even though there's injuries, they've got some stuff going, running the ball with Emmett. They like it. Like when you hear, Latofsky and those guys talk about it, they sort of like that they've moved, maybe more toward the run game. And so I think those guys, he's not the sexiest name on the roster, but a guy like Tyler Canuck is big to the rest of this season. Like he's a big wild card now and an important player. And a guy like him has to look at it like if he gets called on and whether he starts or he gets thrown in at some spot, that he can be an X factor. We'll see, how good Pritch and Corcoran are with their bodies and ready to roll this weekend. But even with those injuries, they were getting some stuff done up front against USC. And that's another thing where you can look at the film and say, we kind of had this game going our way for, those 2.5 quarters. And then on offense, it was kind of going to our plan. Let's just stick with it and, keep doing what you can do. So I'd say O-line to that. But the defense obviously has got an interesting challenge because I do have some worry about Nico's feet and what he can do with the run game. I watched that game against Penn State, and it was just really impressed with how he was able to, scramble and just make plays when sometimes it didn't seem like they were there. So that's going to be a big challenge for that group.
BC, how much of this are you looking at and you say, okay, UCLA is the 124th ranked rush defense in the country. Emmett Johnson has kind of been cooking lately. You mentioned you think the O-line's playing better. How much of it to you is just like, hey, you just got to ram it down their throats?
I think there's a lot of that. I mean, I understand you still want to spread it around and have some variance in your offense, and that's going to be there. And I think there were some plays, honestly, in the second half of that game with TJ that probably were there that just a young quarterback in the moment didn't see. But now you get a chance to go back, see what didn't happen, where it could have happened, and you use that as a tool now going into this week with a full week of prep. And so I think they'll have some stuff in the passing game that's really tailored to him that he feels really comfortable with. But to your question, yeah, I think they can run the ball on them. And now the thing is, with Husker football this year, it seems like sometimes we've set out storylines going into games by looking at numbers and been like, this is how this game might play out. And then it kind of can shift on us a little bit. So you got to be careful with that. But I don't think you got to be overly complicated sometimes. I mean, Emmett Johnson's playing at a really high level. I think he's a first-team all-conference guy. I think when he gets the ball, even when there's nothing plays, he's getting something out of it. Lean on it. You got a bye week after this, so I expect it's going to be a game where he gets about 30 touches again.
BC, if your coach Rule and you heard him say, okay, hey, listen, if you quoted him, right? If I'm a good coach, then this will happen. Dana, if you're a good coach, this will happen. How do you reconcile the adults in the room saying, all right, we gotta sack up, and they've got to prove it on the fly versus it, in addition to the players getting it too, knowing that some guys played as well as they have all season. How do you think they reconcile that? Is that a culture thing? Is that offset by how you go to work thing? How do you think the younger guys balance the fact that the older guys, the adults, are challenging themselves, knowing that that they some of those guys may play their best ball.
Yeah, I have to think they like that. When you hear your coach say, I got to be better, like I got to step up, and sort of put it on them, the old point the thumb and Pelini speak. I can't imagine if you're playing for a guy and you think you're improving as a young player and your coach is still saying, I can be better, I can coach you better, that doesn't drive you in a positive way. So I think that's all useful to them. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. Like you don't like moral, there are no moral victories around here. But it was sort of such a layered game on Saturday because you did have the part where some guys did play their best football. There's the real disappointment and understanding I get, and empathy, with the fan base, like, oh no, like what's going to happen now? Your quarterback's out the rest of the season and you feel like everything sort of shifted. And so there's that pessimism that's in the air. But yet, like, again, inside the walls, you just got to take it back to what's on film, what actually showed that, we did show that there was improvement in a lot of areas. These are things that can get fixed up. And I know some people get tired of like the coach speak and you just go in there on Sunday and you got to like look at the tape and that's your sanctuary sort of thing. But that's how you survive in this game is you see the good and the bad and you let that tell the truth and you don't worry about what everybody else is saying. But when your coaches have your back and are, fired up to get better and saying, hey, we got to elevate too. That's a good starting point usually.
Brian, what did you think about Dana yesterday when he said that they need to get out and play? Like I sat here and thought, if it were me, I would say, specifically in regards to TJ, I would say, hey, man, it'd be nice if you had the bye week this week. You get the extra time to prep your quarterback and all that. And Dana kind of seemed to buck that trend and said, hey, we just need to get out there and play. Like, did that seem a little counterintuitive to you?
I think he knows that this isn't a team that likes to sit on games like that, where you felt like you had a golden opportunity and it slipped away. And you just don't want to hang on to it for more than 7 days. Also, around here, it's tough to hang on to games like that for more than 7 days. So it's better sometimes to just get back out there, give a different result to everyone to talk about, and you have that opportunity to go do it. So I don't know. I get where you're coming from, though. With the new quarterback and some of the injuries, you might think like this would be the perfect week to have a bye. And of course, UCLA is coming off of one too, so there's that advantage where they should be fresh. But I get it. It's like as a competitor, you're just like, man, this taste in my mouth, I don't like it. Let's go. And I think they're kind of wired that way.
You see, let me ask you something, just because I think you're thoughtful. So, at no point during the game and all this, and I try to pay close attention. So if there's something else you heard, then I'm all ears. Have you heard people talk about one of the reasons that Nebraska didn't get it done on Saturday, and this is different than the Pritchett injury, was the offensive line play? Have you heard that?
I don't know. I don't think I haven't heard a lot of that.
I haven't either. Okay, so if we both agree, how do you think you reconcile the fact that the elephant in the room, and Coach Raiola has said this, right? I think he knows how people feel about him. I think he knows that he still has a job to do. Yet we didn't talk about the offensive line play as it related to Saturday. He just keeps shuttling guys in. How do we balance? All right, we saw some tackles with guys in wide nines get beat, or pass protection coverage, or all the things that we've talked about. Yet he continues to just kind of shuttle in different bodies and flip guys around, and it wasn't a narrative. Like, how are we reconciling the job he's doing, or what does it say about his perseverance that they just kind of continue to double down on the process? Are those two different things?
No, that's a good question because I do. I mean,
thank
to
you,
be
because it's
fair
been on
about
my
it,
mind.
I
It's
mean,
been on my mind.
they had some tough weeks in there, and so some of the critiques were harsh, but people were disappointed, I think, because they thought it was going to be more of a strength, and it was showing at points in the week. But to your question, I think the perseverance this last week, you got to say, you did a pretty nice job in that game against USC, considering the circumstances and how they were able to run the ball with the different chess pieces you're having to move around. So I give them credit for that, and like this is a game where you can further that now. Like we talked about, sort of with those young defensive guys. This O-line has a chance down the stretch with some guys that we didn't necessarily expect, maybe getting in to put their stamp on how are we actually going to talk about this group when the season is finished. I like what Mike Eckler said at one point when he was talking about his guys before the year. He's like, we're not going to ride the waves. We'll look up when it's over. And I think as a coach and as a position group, that's such a key mindset. Very hard to do. I mean, I understand how challenging that is in our social media age and with everybody's got opinions and stuff. But if you can accomplish that and sort of get like locked in, this is our group, and like there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but just let's keep going together and fix this thing as it happens, and then we'll look up at the end and see where we're at. So I think there's a bit of that probably mindset that Eckler's talking about that's probably prevalent in that room, and it probably does help too that you have some guys who have just been around the block a lot, and Spindler, Latovsky, Evans, Evans is a guy you'd want like in an alleyway fight with you. Those type of guys I think help as you have to work through that.
BC, if you had to pick a group that was not going to ride the wave, as Eckler put it, the most, and you want them to be the most steady through the UCLA game, would you pick the offensive line, who might be dealing with either an injured Pritchett or a couple starters out, the defensive line, who's largely unproven and dealing with putting a lot of guys in and out of that lineup over the course of the year, quarterback, you've got a true freshman making his first start on the road, or another position?
I want D, all of the above, but I'll say D-line, just to go a different direction. I mean, I think that, like we said, there was some good stuff on tape in the USC game. I thought Butler yesterday summed it up well while kind of moving on to UCLA, where he was proud of that group in a way, because they kind of executed the plan and making USC really have to think through the passing game. And yes, they did give up the 202 rushing yards. You never love to see that on a stat sheet. I wasn't as harsh about that as some people. I don't love to see it, but I also know that you have to give to get sometimes, and they gave a little there, and what they got was they held an offense that was averaging in the 40s at 21 points and 135 passing yards. So there was some good stuff in there too, and Butler was pointing that out. But I think with this D-line, you've got some guys who, Petchak, Winery, some of those guys who are coming along, like, okay, let's take another step this week, and that they have the chance to go do this against a quarterback who I know drew a lot of off-season attention for some negative things, but he's got talent too. Like he can make you pay. So you've got to be dialed in this week.
BC, we get to Pasadena, and kind of this game unfolds. You heard Coach Holgerson and Coach Butler talk about the previous week, and then UCLA. I always like to ask about future headlines. If we have future headlines, is it starting with Nebraska's defense defending and stymieing QB run game in the ground game, or is it Nebraska's offense finding QB run game and their ground game?
I Again, I'd like to mix both. But I'll say, the offense with Latif in that run game would be interesting, like a storyline that I could see emerging, and I think we're all very curious to see if it can. There's no question that, like, I know what he did on the ground was mostly against, Akron and Houston Christian, but he opened some eyes when he got here with like how mobile he was. And I think even in those games, people saw like this kid can move a bit, it's one thing when you're in a green jersey all off season and the guys can't touch you and you're like, he looks like he's pretty fleet of foot, but that you can't tell for sure. And then you actually have guys chasing you. And even on Saturday, there was a player too, where, you've got some 4-stars from USC going after him and he like rounded the corner. Unfortunately, it was on the drive with the 4th and 1 and the timeout and all that. But he had that play, he fumbled it, but he got away and got like 6 yards. And you're like, okay, that's going to be a problem for some defenses down the stretch of this season because he will make some of those plays. So I think it's totally possible that he could bank a big run play on a 3rd down or an explosive if he tucks it and then UCLA bites on it. That's completely possible that he could have that kind of play that turns the game with his feet.
That is Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7. BC, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, B.
Coming up next, we're going to talk to our friend Andy Kendeigh from KETV, get his pulse on what's going on around the Metro, and got lots of stuff happening. We've got high school volleyball state tournament.
How quick did that come?
Just like quicker than a hiccup, just
like
right on top of us. So we've got that. Obviously, Nebraska, Creighton basketball starts tonight as well. Lots going on. But don't forget, no matter what's going on, it's always time to think about buying holiday gifts, decor, food, and more. The holidays have gotten on top of us as well. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of savings while shopping with Centris Federal Credit Union's Roundup program. When you enroll in Centris Roundup, every purchase you make with Centris Visa debit card gets rounded up to the nearest whole dollar, and that amount gets deposited directly into your savings account. It's a simple way to grow your savings through the holiday season and beyond. Learn more about Centris Roundup at centrisfcu.org. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. We'll be right back with AK coming up next.
I think Bergen's playing great, and Ace again heavily skews. So we were talking about if we get aced, there's no offensive number with that. So, I think that helps our offensive numbers. It's just a point. But we probably won't talk about it a whole lot. Again, we're pretty focused on ourselves, and that's been really impressive. What this team has done has just been focused on getting better here and there, competing with each other. Not taking opponents for granted, which, I do think there's teams like Oregon is a good example. They're much better than their record, and they can play very clean and got some great players. So I think our players understand how thin the line is this year and every year in volleyball. Like, there's players all over the country that can take over matches and can get hot, and you can find yourself in a pretty tough situation really quick in our sport.
I think we have very good players in the secondary. I think it's a testament to those guys that play. They do a very good job of our guys do a very good job of executing the system and covering themselves in areas that they need to. You know, I give credit to our players. I mean, we knew going in that we had a challenging system to defend, a challenging group of players to defend, and we wanted to make sure that they couldn't figure out, however they were making ways to try to figure out our coverages, and they go to extreme lengths to try to figure out what we're doing. And so the system we put in place to make sure that they couldn't figure out what we were playing and they couldn't tell the quarterback, I think, is a testament to our players. They're running the ball. You know, they're really doing a really nice job running the ball. In that running game includes the quarterback as a designed runner, also includes the quarterback as a scrambler. If you look at the Penn State game, he probably had 80 yards in critical scramble yards. He scrambles on third downs for first down. He's athletic as hell, tall, fast. You know, so, you know, they want to run the football, and you know, that's just kind of really everybody we've seen this year that's kind of been their mantra. So that's what they've been doing well. I think they're averaging close to 180 yards a game rushing since they made the change at coordinator. So we're going to have to do a good job of defending the run and knowing where the quarterback is when he drops back.
At Centris Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals, with a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Andy Kendeigh from KETV. What's going on, Andy?
Boys, good morning. What's happening?
AK for Channel 7. How we doing?
Doing all right, DB. Saw your lovely wife last night at West Side. What a facility they have opened, phase 1. Whew, that pool is amazing.
The old Cal Bentz.
Yeah. It's
facility.
a Doug Kreklow pool. Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, we had Penny Haynes from South Africa, who coincidentally went to school the same time I did. Come back and talk to our team. Olympic gold medalist, swimmer, Penny Haynes. Two-time. Come talk to our team. And she had been down in Nebraska the week before. I don't know who found, maybe Terry Hanna, somebody, one of these.
Terry did, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and guess. He does everything. She spoke to our team. So how about that for a small world facility motivational deal, man? Not too bad.
I know. Not too bad to have a two-time Olympic gold medalist talk to your team. She spoke at the dedication last night. I was part of the crew that helped unveil the facility, and I tell you, it is state of the art. I've been around, you know, as a swim dad, and it is good, if not the best high school pool I've ever seen. It is amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised if, well, they're going to have Metros there this year, and you know, it is a facility that is good enough, in my opinion, to host a state meet if they can figure out some logistical issues. It is state of the art, and it is fantastic. And not just that, I mean, the weight room that they've developed, and there's a new auxiliary gym. It is just a new medicine training facility. Oh my goodness, I was just like, holy cow, this is better than a lot of colleges have. You know what I mean? It's pretty amazing.
AK, I know you have sometimes on Saturdays have to babysit me when I'm hiding through whatever I'm trying to get my mind wrapped around. Sunday was an all-time classic. So Lauren is back, and you'd think it would just be seamless and smooth. Your boy messed up about 34 times, which is 33 more than I can remember doing a segment. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't figure out the difference between play and pause, man. She had to be looking at me like, this dude is an idiot. Like, just press pause. And I'm like, Lauren, I can't. I'm trying. And I had Zoe with me, and she's spinning around in Caitlin, the weather chair, because it's just the three of us in there. And I guarantee my 7-year-old is like, this dude is such a dummy. She's laughing. She's like, get it, Dad. Why can't you figure it out? And I'm arguing. I'm like, I don't know. So of all the talks, all the pep talks we have on Saturdays, you would have laughed your head off on Sunday morning. God.
Well, I'll tell you, if anybody who's done what you do, or occasionally what I do, if you mess up once, it's almost easier to do it live, because you have no regroup time. If you're on live, you just got to power through no matter what, right? But if you're doing it on pre-record, you're like, okay, let's try this again, and then it gets in your head, and you're like, where did I flub up last time? And then all of a sudden, it spirals. Well, I get it. I've been there, done that. That's crazy. Lauren was like, he was kind of, he was persevering this morning.
Yeah, shoot, man. Off my game, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of on, off, what'd you think yesterday? You're kind of listening to Coach Holgerson and Coach Butler. Coach Butler is a little easier because he's never satisfied. So you get the sense he's going to double down. But listening to Dana, he's got to kind of adjust a little more. Who'd you take more from yesterday?
Ooh, well, I think probably Holgerson, just because of the situation that presented itself. Like, not what particularly they said per se, but just the subject matter that was presented to them before they started speaking, because you knew you needed some answers from Holgerson and his perspective on the quarterback position and all that. And, I just think that it presents itself in a way that Nebraska can use this, not a positive, because it's never positive when you lose your quarterback, but I think they can try to spin it where it's going to be a challenge for UCLA to prepare this week. I really do think that TJ Latif gives them a different dynamic than most teams have been used to preparing for this Nebraska team. The running element, I think, is something that TJ brings to the table, and that's tough to defend. And I just think that how the team rallies behind this kid, who you got to double check. You're like, is he a redshirt freshman or is he a true freshman? Oh yeah, he enrolled early and he was at spring practice, so everybody thinks he's kind of older than he is. He's a young kid, and to get thrown into that situation last Saturday, I think this Saturday he will be 100 times more ready than he was just kind of coming in cold off the sidelines. And I that's why I think Holgerson's comments were pretty unique. And how about this, when he comes up and he says, I got here a year ago yesterday. I mean, I was just like, whoa, I didn't think about that. Like, that was amazing. The dude's been here only a year, and think about all the curveballs he's been thrown, So to manage now he's got this latest one, and he's got to figure out a plan to try to get this team over the top against a UCLA team who's been, kind of, they've shown that they can play. They've also shown that they could get blown out. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. A weird start time too. It's 8:00 Central and 6:00 Pacific, which I don't love, but nobody asked me for my opinion before they scheduled me.
So I'm just cringing. I'm like, Coach Rule suddenly dropped in 5 a.m. return. I was like, seems a little late. So I asked Jay Moore, because they had to shoot out to SoCal when he was playing, and he said, "Oh no, it's not that bad. It's closer to 4 or 4:30."
Oh, great.
Great. I'm like, bless you, Jay Moore. Like, half an hour, I'll take it. An hour, I'll take it. But I don't know. Anytime between 4 and 5, none of that sounds fun. So Who knows how horrible I'll be Sunday morning?
I mean,
will you guys even be back?
I won't be back, but Lauren will be back, or Eddie. One of the two will be there because it's me and Ben going out. So yeah,
I'm half tempted to go shower and change and come right there and go back to bed.
And just just knock it off because if you go back to bed, if you go home.
Well, I'm not going to bed at 5:15.
Well,
yeah, it's not happening.
I value sleep. I am the ultimate sleeper. So yeah, anytime I can squeeze in a nap, I will. But I know my limits. Like if I get home at 5:30, no, I haven't done that in a while. But if I did, I know I'd be sleeping until about noon. So forget about it.
I mean, it's a fantastic break they call too because it's a bye week next week. So it actually doesn't make any difference.
Yeah,
it's
what time they get back?
It's just adults whining is really what it boils down to.
This is first world problems, right?
Yeah. Right.
AK, did you make the big sacrifice to head out to Southern California this week?
I did. I said, guys, I'll make this trip.
He's like, shoot, that one to Minneapolis I can't make, but LA I'm there.
No, it was the one to Maryland.
Oh, that's right.
But Lauren really stepped up, right? Yeah, but I'll tell you, again, I know that we've got a real early flight on Friday, and connecting through Las Vegas, and that's a dangerous proposition for your boy here. So, I may just connect through a different gate, if you know what I mean. So we'll just we'll try to power through. I don't love hanging out in the Vegas airport. It's one of the more unique airport settings in America, but
discipline, AK, discipline.
Yeah.
Lock in, buddy.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yep, it's a long wait. Night game, long wait.
AK,
so,
what?
I actually said, I'm like, we get out there early enough on Friday. If I get my stuff down early enough Friday, I mean, Vegas is only like, I don't know, it's a real cheap flight. We can make it now, but
so here's the crazy thing about flying in. Like anytime you're in that airport in Vegas, all times of the day seem the same.
Oh yeah.
So you don't know if it's 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. It feels the same. I'll have flashbacks of some really terrible wait times there. So where I get there, where I'm like, okay, my flight's not until 8:00 at night. I'm kicked out of my hotel. I am tapped out. I'm just going to I'm going to the airport, and you can feel about as low as you can be in the Las Vegas airport. And on the way out too, this is a unique thing. You want to see energy. I think we're on like a 5:30 flight that connects through Vegas. I mean, to feel the energy on a 5:30 a.m. weekend flight to Las Vegas, you're going to be like, people, simmer down. Come on now. We're flying to Los Angeles. You guys are getting off at Vegas. Don't rub it in. So there you go.
There's plenty other things going on this week as well, Andy. You've got obviously Nebraska volleyball still rolling. You got college basketball kicking off this week. You got high school state volleyball tournament. Like, how are you spending your time until you leave?
I can't believe how fast state volleyball got here.
Exactly. And if you could see me right now, I'm literally pulling my hair, like I'm pulling my hair out, because I don't know how we're going to fit all this stuff in. Today could be sneakily one of the busiest days. Like you would never even dream of 99 times out of 100 days during football season to not have a Husker football something or other on a game weekday. But today you can make the argument because you've got quarterfinals in Class B coming up, starting in 15 minutes. Class C1 quarterfinals. Class A, which 70% of the teams are from the Metro. And that's just volleyball. Oh, by the way, 23rd ranked Creighton opens up its season tonight against South Dakota at CHI. So, and then you got, don't forget about Friday night quarterfinal Friday, which, talk about matchups, people jockeying for the semifinals. Stevie, I'm curious, Stevie, how are you going to handle Friday night? Do you just get on the West Side Wired, the broadcast thing, the YouTube thing, and
no comment?
Can you? Okay, you can't do that, huh?
No comment.
Okay, all right, because it's got to be come on, Kearney, you guys should handle Kearney. I can say that you can't. You guys should handle Kearney, but there's always that peek ahead thing because North South would be waiting the next week.
And
Have you not watched us lately? There is no peek ahead. Like
Yeah.
I mean, we're notorious for sleepwalking, and we're not good enough to be doing it. So you don't have to worry about that.
Okay,
we'll be dialed.
And then Elkhorn South, Millard South. I mean, I think we all know what's happening there. And then you
sound like Chattel. Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I think he's figured out he drives me crazy. I just want one conversation with him on a Saturday without talking about high school football. Like, I don't know if he does it to needle me, but I'm cutting that guy out too. Yeah, he's out. He's out the family. He's out. Yeah, I'm trimming all the fat. I'm sick of everybody.
I will tell you this though, DB, that lower half of that Class A bracket, fascinating to me, because I think Millard North and Papio South is sneakily probably the most intriguing quarterfinal.
Well, it's by far I think it's the most. It's like pick one.
I agree. Both teams coming off 1-point wins where they were, you could make the argument that they won the game, but they needed some breaks to win it, and that is a fascinating matchup for me. So that is going to be a great.
I'm right there with you.
And I want to see how Prep can handle Lincoln East, because Lincoln East surprised Omaha Central. So this is a great time of year.
Prep is so good defensively. I think Lincoln East is going to they're going to have to manufacture some ways to score.
Yeah, I agree with you. Prep is really playing some good defensive football, and I would not be surprised to see the Junior Jays at Memorial Stadium. And, this is the time of year, guys, where it's just like it's drinking water out of a fire hose. There's so much going on. You try to do your best to get it. You try to do your best to touch all the bases, but sometimes you can't get to everything, but we do our best to make sure we get to as much as possible. And this is one of the fun things. This is where you're like, where is all this stuff in the middle of December, or in the middle of February or the middle of May.
Let me ask you something real quick, AK, because I have a Superman crush on DBK. How do you not do you have to guard against complacency and taking what they're doing right now for granted because you expect them to be there at the end? Because what she does and says weekly, I think, is fascinating. But if you're not careful, you could yawn because they are so good. But Superman crush on DBK.
Well, I think the messaging too from her is very impressive. She's very cognizant to make sure her team knows to enjoy what's happening here. And Andy Jackson talked a little bit about that yesterday. And
who's become quite the spokesperson.
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. Talk about, this is one of the cool things about doing what we do is watching kids mature and finding their voice. And Andy Jackson has really developed into one of the spokespeople of that team. She's terrific. And yesterday at the podium, because she was in there with Virginia Adriano, and she was making sure Virginia was, kind of guiding her through some of the questions. And she's kind of coming out of her shell too.
Yeah.
But Andy Jackson talking about enjoying the journey, you got to take them one match at a time, but you have to kind of sit back and think about how cool it is to be in the position that you're in. And I think that's one of the good things that Danny's been doing with this team is making sure the kids know that winning is hard. How many times have you heard that in the last couple of weeks? Winning is hard. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Winning is hard. It's not easy. The other team pays their players too. We can say that now. And it is amazing to see what Nebraska has done lately because I don't know, it's been years since we've seen a team dominate like this. Now, can they keep it up and get through the end of the Big Ten season and then, get through the first 2 weekends of the tournament to wind up in Kansas City? That's going to be the big thing. Because I think you're right, DB. I think a lot of people have already made reservations down in Kansas City. I'm guilty of that. So we'll see.
I just think if we're not careful, she's hard to appreciate in the moment. But I think she's fascinating.
Well, especially walking in with what she walked into, and with the transition. And I don't care what kind of success she has, what kind of history she's had with the team. You still got to win over your team, right? You still got to
you still got to be that leader that your players will fight for. And I think she's gotten to the point where the team has fully made the transition.
Well, which
I think is so admirable.
I'm listening to her interview where Baylor and Cook are like firing questions at her at the post game, and I'm like, this is captivating because without the title, you just I'm familiar with those situations where you're expected to win and people assume, and it's harder than you think, and you're entertaining questions, and it's a predecessor, and he's the GOAT, and it's the play. Like those dynamics, I'm like all in on watching people's mannerisms. I think she's incredible.
Yeah, and I think that John
she's
Cook's
being
role
interviewed by Cook, right?
Yeah, I think John Cook's role in the media is one of the more eye-opening, underplayed stories this fall.
That would be like T.O. interviewing Rule or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It is fascinating to see that. And of course, John knows enough to kind of lead her like, hey, I know the deeper meaning of this. Let's see how you handle this. You know what I mean? He's still kind of coaching her at times to see what's happening. Yeah. Kind of pushing her limits, pushing her buttons. It's great. It's great.
That is AK from KETV. Hey, and I appreciate you making the sacrifice for your team, making it out to Southern California this week. Enjoy that time. Hopefully it's not too arduous for you.
Sacrifice.
Well, I did check the weather, guys, and I did see that, Saturday the high is 81.
Oh, wow.
But I think kickoff,
that's miserable.
Kickoff is going to be, I just checked, kickoff at 6 o'clock is going to be 71, and the wind chill would be 71. So we're going to be right there. We're right there.
Well, hopefully you can.
I'm not happy about that, AK. I know you are. I'm over the warm weather.
Hopefully you can manage.
Yeah, we'll persevere.
And I'm still wearing long sleeves, so go me.
Good. I know you will be.
Good luck and Godspeed, AK.
Yes. Thanks, boys.
All right, we'll talk to you later. That is Andy Kendeigh from KETV. He's got a tough job this weekend. Got to get out to LA.
Take one for the team.
I appreciate that. It's a true leader, sacrificing.
That's what it's all about.
People don't want to head out there. What's up, Shane?
You want to get out of breath, Brian, here quick?
Yeah, we'll take him. Can we get the new code, champ, for?
Oh yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, let's get to Brian here though. Brian, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, just this calling in and a couple of things. Hey,
Hi,
Damon.
Good morning. What's up, buddy?
I'm going to just want to check on you, man. Make sure you took your metoprolol, amlodipine, valsartan.
I don't even know what that is. What does that do for you?
Blood pressure medicine, my bro.
Oh, no. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I got my mom's temperament, man. She's a good woosah. Work your way through it. What's up, bud? I appreciate you thinking of me.
Y'all. I heard the call. For me, I saw the signal for the old me, the fickle to come. I see.
Oh, are you back to fickle people, Brian?
Well, this is the reason why I came out, because that fickle, I said fickle because we were on the radio. Now, the real F word I wanted to say, you could figure out what it was.
Oh, yeah, and now that we're not on radio, you're like green light.
Man, these I'm still going to be nice because I got to go out in public. These freaking fans, man, they don't know how to endure, and that's what gets on my nerves, man. They all the time want a quick fix, and want it done in 3 years, they want it to be like somewhere else when it's not like somewhere else. The way the flowers bloom here is not the same the way they're going to bloom somewhere else. We got a different temperature here. We got different seasons. I got all kind of analogies for these people, Damon. I understand we have a team, 75% of the players are like sophomore and younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do these people expect, man? There's going to be some growing pains along the way. I'm tired of these people always talking about firing coaches every 2 to 3 years. Well, they don't even look at the whole picture. We got new coaches that just got in that's trying to get their roots in. We're trying to drive in our needle point to create our groove, and we're still working on it. There's construction analogies to show how you people are horrible fans. All right? When you're building something, you got to first get the foundation built. We're still trying to let the ground settle. And y'all people ready to kick the construction crew off and start with somebody else. I'm tired of you people, fans, stupid fans. Shut up watch the game, get some heart, learn how to endure, because that's what I feel the problem is with these Nebraska fans, the media people who always want to quit, fire some coach, and start over again. Y'all don't have the heart to endure, and I really feel like Michael Singletary. I couldn't play with you. I couldn't win with you. I don't want to even be around y'all. And I even hate to be associated with y'all, man. Y'all make me sick.
And
that's all I got, Damon. I'm going to let y'all get on with y'all day, man. Go ahead.
Let me ask you something. Are you happy? Like, I know you guys got a nice haul with Williams and getting rid of Mazzy, and you got the pick. Were you surprised that Aaron, or are you happy that Aaron Glenn got not only the extension yesterday, but also gets the chance and the blessing for the full rebuild in New York?
Yes.
You almost never see that in the NFL.
Never see that.
You don't.
Never. Especially I like it when I know there's coaches that are the type of people I like. I like people that are self-aware, that look in the mirror at themselves every day, every moment, and try to be aware of how they are affecting things around them and in their environment, where they are at, or they're supposed to be in society, and help out. Not somebody that's not aware, and you put the mirror to their face and they go, "What you talking about? What you see? You see all them blemishes?" Okay, I'm just let it. People need to just calm down. You know,
there it is. Boy, it has been some years. At least you're consistent.
Listen, Brian, I like you a lot better when you're not yelling at me. I like this.
No, give him the Ravi.
Come on, man. It's growing pains, man. People always calling in ready to just turn. You can't have no successful venture with that. If y'all had the attitude with businesses, man, all of y'all businesses would fail. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Ravi.
All right, bud.
Appreciate you, Brian.
My blood pressure was me being.
You seemed calm.
Super.
Yeah,
like,
you seemed calm.
You
were processing it, but you seemed calm.
I was just vulnerable.
I didn't think anything about blood pressure. You know, although apparently Wyatt's on a little bit of
Asian Wyatt.
Yeah, he said he's on 10 milligrams of one of those things that Brian said. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know what my blood. So even the guys at NextGen.
Yeah.
Like right before she brought out the supersized needle.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you're 109 over 71." I said, "Yeah, I'm chill, man.
Just even keel."
And I'm cool with needles. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't have tracks, so leave it alone.
I wasn't gonna say anything. What I was gonna say is make sure you get out to Edwards Auto Village Point this Saturday, 2 to 5:30 p.m. for the grand opening and Ultimate Duck Tailgate. Talking food, football on the big screen, games, prizes, even a chance to win Supernovas tickets and a huge fireworks finale from J&M Displays to wrap up the night. And it all goes to benefit Children's Nebraska and Team Jack Foundation. You can have a great time and help a great cause at a great location, Edwards Auto Village Point. Go to filltheflock.com to learn more. That's filltheflock.com. We'll be right back with Mitch Sherman.
I think Danny does a really good job as a head coach, giving us credit where credit is due. So we've talked about it before every game we smell the roses, really enjoy it for what it is, and we stay very present, and I really appreciate that from Danny, because in the Big Ten and in every single conference and at this high of a level, you can get really caught up in the monotony of things, and winning can feel more relieving than exciting, and Danny does a really good job letting us know that regardless of the win, like a win in the Big Ten is a really big deal, regardless of who it's against. So she does a really good job giving us credit and letting us know that wins aren't easy and we need to celebrate it and obviously stay focused on the end goal. But I think that it helps us stay motivated throughout the season, because we know that what we're doing is not easy, and she makes us feel very validated in it. So one game at a time, one win at a time, celebrate it, take it for what it is, and then just take it one day at a time, like I said.
Centris Federal Credit Union, we understand that the journey of building your own business typically starts with modest beginnings. With a little help from our team of experts and small business loan offerings, you can take your vision and transform it into a more concrete reality. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, you always got to be prepared for that. I mean, it's football, you know. I mean, it's unfortunately a part of the game. Obviously disappointed for Dylan, man. I mean, I've been in this situation before where, I think it was 2017, Will Greer broke his finger, and the people saw it on the Jumbotron, and so we were beating Texas by like 10, and it just took all the air out of everything, the crowd, the players. We lost that game and, didn't finish that year the way that we thought we would, I did not feel that one bit in this game, okay? Dylan was incredible on the sidelines. I mean, it was unfortunate. We had momentum. We were going to go score, and that game was going to end differently. We all know that. But the reality of it is our crowd was probably better after it happened. Our players didn't flinch, didn't blink. Credit to our defense for going out there and getting a stop, didn't let them score on that turnover.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
First testament you get of that is how do they show up on Sunday? And if you look at us last Sunday, our guys are flying around after playing Northwestern after a really physical game, practicing. Like we practice on Sunday and we go for about 30 minutes of full live stuff, and they were flying around. And then we came out, obviously after a disappointing result this past Saturday, and this Sunday they were flying around. And today we're in pads and knocking the hell out of each other. So I said to Snow today, I said, our guys are flying around. They're giving us everything they have. All we can do is keep pouring into them and focusing on the process and getting better and making that one play so that the result ends up being what it is. But if we focus on just continuing to be more physical, defending the run, controlling this quarterback, that's just kind of what the message has got to be.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We are joined now by Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, how are we doing this morning?
Doing well. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good, Mitch. We're good. I follow Matt Coatney, and he always has national date, whatever it is. Is Mitch Sherman a donut guy? And if he is, what is it? And also, because you're smart and you can follow a three-pronged question, is a fritter a donut?
Yeah, I do like donuts. I can resist them. but I do like them.
Okay.
I'm a cake donut guy.
Cake over raised.
Yes, like
Okay.
the cake donuts, but give me some good chocolate or ice frosting on them. Occasionally, if I'm really in the mood and I'll regret it after, I do like a good cherry filling in a donut. That would not be a cake donut, obviously. But I don't. I mean, it's like once a year, Damon. I mean, I at this age that I feel like you're gonna be dealing with the results of that for a while if I eat one of those things. But I will on a rare occasion. And fritters. I don't even eat donuts that much, but fritters. I haven't given it any thought. But no, it's not a donut. It's not a donut. It's some version of a pastry. It's a dessert pastry, but it's not a donut.
Okay.
Donuts are round. Donuts are round.
Well, what
or
about
square? Or square? Or square. You get square donuts.
Sometimes like the media, the radio network will have donuts.
Fritters could be round.
And they have some. I mean, no free advertising. They have some businesses that they work with in Lincoln, and some of these donuts that they bring in, Mitch, are like the size of small laptops. Like are those still donuts? They are.
I don't think so.
They are so big. It's like, what is going on?
It has to have a hole in the middle to be a donut.
Okay. So is a long john. So what do we do with long johns?
They're not donuts. I mean, you could get them in like a box of donuts, but they're, There's just
I don't know rules. I don't know enough, and I only eat the same two things if I'm going to eat them. I'm eating the blueberry fleck donut. I don't care if it's cake or raised. Although I do like the distinction on your part. And I'm eating a nice apple or blueberry fritter. Like those are the two things I'll rock with. Thank the Lord that Krispy Kreme stopped making the cinnamon roll ones, because Lord knows I could literally, Mitch, eat about 11 and not bat an eye at it.
Those Krispy Kremes are very dangerous because you can do that. Like you eat one and it's like that. You have 2 or 3 bites and
they're like air. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It doesn't feel like you're eating anything. You're right. But they taste good.
Oh, they're incredible.
Thought we weren't doing any free advertising here.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
Listen, it's
well, that one place with the alliteration in the name has those things that they stopped making. I get in trouble for talking cryptic, Mitch, so I just try to be specific sometimes. Just throw a curveball.
I got you.
All right. I have a couple questions I want to get started with. So we're talking about takeaways versus narratives. Your sphere may be different than my sphere. So based on what you heard yesterday from the coordinators, is there one or the other that you felt like was speaking more to the narratives that surrounded Saturday's game?
I'm remembering now what they had to say. I thought Matt Rule talked a lot about the narratives that surrounded Saturday's games. I got that feeling.
Outside of his open, he was pretty football-y.
Mm-hmm.
The open was long.
Is that when he went through the? And I'll answer your question, but is that when he went through the conversation about how Nebraska has to go back to year one and we have to earn respect and we have to respect ourselves before we can earn respect?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that
actually like that.
I thought that one went down a rabbit hole of listening to narratives that aren't necessarily representative of how a large group of people feel about Nebraska football.
Or he was talking to his team. But I agree with I see how that could have gone either way, though. I hear you.
Yesterday with the coordinators, I don't think either one of them really addressed narratives. I think for the most part that the two of them answered the questions that they were asked. Dana talked a lot about TJ Latif and about how he feels with this team's on the offensive side about this team's ability to bounce back and move on from the injury to Dylan Raiola. And John Butler talked a lot about what they've been doing in pass defense, about defending Nico Iamaliava. Dang, I can't believe I tripped
Iamaliava.
over myself on that one.
Yeah.
But Iamaliava. And yeah, I mean, Butler was more. It's funny because Dana's the one who said that the players were pissed off, but Butler was the one who came off himself seeming a little more pissed off about just where they're at right now going to UCLA. And the defense outplayed the offense possibly. I mean, giving up 21 points to USC, I think it's 21-17. Like, just on the surface, that's a game where your defense did enough to win. Yet John Butler, who's ultra competitive, and doesn't I like the question he got about, did you feel good about not giving up a 60-yard run in this game? And he's like, well, yeah. What are you gonna say? I guess.
Right.
But
Better
no, they were both pretty straightforward.
Mitch, as you listen to what Coach Holgorsen had to say about TJ Latif, I asked somebody this earlier, and do you have any idea what to expect?
I think I do. I feel like that he's going to be a distributor, that they're going to ask him to take a couple shots, but for the most part, what he's going to do is distribute the ball close to the line of scrimmage, maybe throw a couple intermediate passes. He's going to run. They're going to have some designed runs. They're going to get him out on the edge. They're not going to ask him to make extremely difficult decisions. He's not going to be going to his third and fourth reads on many or any plays. Some zone read stuff.
Are you sure?
I don't envision that based on what I saw against USC. I think most of the. I mean, he could be in play action, which is the play that Dylan got hurt on. What they asked him to do there in play action. I think TJ will do more of that. And I think that the offense with TJ sets itself up to do more play action because UCLA is going to sell out to stop the run. So you start to bring them closer to the line of scrimmage and suck those safeties up, and then TJ can go with some play action, which in Nebraska's case is probably going to include two receivers, maybe a tight end. I don't know. I don't envision a scenario where he's going through a lot of reads in the pass game. And one because that takes longer amount of time, and Nebraska's offensive tackles are just maybe not. They're not best positioned right now to pass protect. They're better positioned to run block.
Although run game with duo and zone read helps your edges out tremendously. That's one new facet that Nebraska will to employ.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to ask him to do too much. But at the same time, they're going to ask him to do a lot because they're going to ask him to get the ball to a lot of players. They don't want to put it all on him. And he has players around him, a lot of players around him, some of whom we haven't seen in a couple weeks that can get out there and make plays for Nebraska in this game.
Let me follow up with that. So, Mitch, if you could wave the magic wand, and I know you're not a fan, but if you could wave a magic wand, I'll just stay on the offense. And you're going to get and Latif's going to get some help. What position group is it if he's functioning at the level that you want to see him play at?
Wide receiver.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, that's the easy answer.
Listen, you could have said wide receiver. You could have said tight. You could have said a lot. No, there's no easy.
Could have said running back. I mean, running back would be obvious. He's going to lean on those guys, Emmett. But I will say wide receiver because Nebraska's really deep there. And that's when I say be a distributor, a point guard, that's mainly what I'm thinking of is him finding ways to get the ball into the hands of Barney and Key and Hunter. And let's not forget Cortez Mills, who has a connection, I think, with TJ. I think those two, when they're on the field together, can operate well together, can see things alike, and because they're freshmen together, they came in the same class. They've gravitated toward each other, and you saw them hit a big pass play earlier this season. Maybe we'll see some Mills in the right spot. But yeah, kind of what they were trying to do with Ja'Cory on the fumbled snap. Get the ball into the hands of those receivers and let them do damage. I think that they can be his biggest asset.
All right, I got a follow up. So if we pick, like, let's just say receivers in general, is it outside the numbers vertically, or is it hash to hash intermediate?
I don't know if I don't know. I mean, I can take a stab at that, but I don't know if I'm best equipped to answer that. I don't, because then you start thinking about like game plan. And
I just wonder if you have a vision of what it looks like.
Yeah, if I have a vision of what it looks like, it's between the hashes. It's the play. It's running plays like what we were going to see with Barney if he would have caught that pass at the 20-yard line on Saturday night. But then they run some of that short stuff outside the hashes too. Just maybe not. He threw a ball to Hunter late in the game, maybe 35, 40 yards in the air that was down the sidelines on the outside on TJ's left side. And it was a good throw. And the UCLA defensive back made a nice play and broke it up. So he's fully capable of making those throws. And we saw him go down the middle of the field on the play that I referenced to Cortez Mills earlier this year. So I think he's capable of making the deep throws in the middle and on the outside. But I think they'll stick, at least at the beginning, in the script. And that's what I think about. Like, what's Dana's script going to look like in this game? Because it's been so good the last 2 weeks, and the way that Dylan has executed it against Northwestern and USC to just really be diverse and pick them apart on that first drive of the game. And I wonder if they can translate that and what it'll look like to Latif. And if it's effective, then I think you want to stick with that kind of stuff. They've gone away a bit from what worked on the first drive, at least in the first halves of both of these last two games. Like, they've done it great, got a touchdown, and then they've kind of settled into more of this. This is going to be a 4-quarter game. Let's do everything we need to do to make sure that there aren't mistakes. And I'm curious on Saturday if they can have the same kind of success at the beginning, and if so, do they more like try to keep that up on drives 2, 3, and 4?
Mitch, how would you balance just wanting to try and hammer UCLA's 124th ranked rush defense versus trying to get TJ into a rhythm early so that if you need him to make throws later, he feels like he's in a good spot?
Well, I mean, we haven't even talked about Emmett Johnson, and we should be talking about him, and he's the obvious answer when you say, well, who is he going to rely on? I think that just it does without needing to be said at this point. But the way they can balance that, the offense so that he's ready to do everything you need him to do late in the game, is by leaning heavily on Emmett Johnson. Like, this is going to be another game where he's carrying the ball 25 times. So now UCLA's different, a different animal a little bit defensively, in that its strength is stopping the run, and the Bruins are bad, statistically at least, against the pass. You kind of know based on
Well, they haven't been good against the run either, really. I mean, I think they're the 120s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So they've struggled, and some of that stuff is skewed by having played Indiana recently, and then just having played Indiana as just a cheat code, and then having the first 3 games of the year, which it's hard to even take them into account. I think when you look at at UCLA now, like I don't think Nebraska's probably watching a lot of film from the beginning of the season at all on UCLA. Like, they got to be looking at just these Big Ten games and with what they've done since Skipper took over. So I don't know how the numbers play out if you take those first 3 games out, and maybe take Indiana out too, because Nebraska's not doing what Indiana does. And I don't mean schematically, I just mean production wise. So anyway, get the ball to Emmett. Even if the numbers say that you should, they're going to be balanced, I think, in this game to some degree, and staying that way and not getting too out of whack one way or the other should help TJ.
All right, so we're on the road, nighttime. It's Pasadena. If you don't want to be super myopic or have to go whatever, best case scenario, who's the unit that you're going to ask be most like who they have been to help Nebraska win?
Special teams.
Seems like the right answer, doesn't it?
Because I don't really want to say defense against Nico, because the defense, what has the defense been for 9 games? Well, they've been leaky in the run game, and they're going to have to button that up. And if you're just going to be what you have been, then you're going to give up some yards on the ground to the quarterback. He's going to do to you what Brendan Sorsby did and what Bryce Underwood did. And you don't want that, because he's liable to throw it better than both of them. I mean, it's not a high bar. Nebraska's doing great things in pass defense.
They're last in the Big Ten in yards per balls in the air and chunk plays in the back.
That surprises me. And again, I wonder if how skewed the statistics are, just because UCLA has been so bad for portions of this season. But that surprises me. Like, I know what he's capable of. And it takes pass protection, it takes receivers. So
and they're healthy now.
Yeah, and I think to answer the question, it's special teams, because I think it's an opportunity for Nebraska to improve its field position, to make life easier on Latif by getting some stuff done in the return game, and then make a play, block a punt, something like that. Do something big that can change the game in special teams. It may take that for Nebraska to get out of there with a victory.
Mitch, as you look at the defensive side of things, you mentioned kind of being worried about Nico and his running ability versus the passing ability. Is there anything you saw in the last couple of weeks against Northwestern and USC that you think Nebraska is more well equipped to handle some of those things than they were earlier in the year?
Yeah, I think that they're, and this is hard to say, that they haven't been good at this all year. When you think back to the Cincinnati game and the way Nebraska, the way the DBs were aggressive and making plays on the ball, but the way that they did that against USC, for me, was the best I'd seen all season. Donovan Jones, Marshall was more aggressive and better than what I'd seen. Sierra Wright's play goes without needing to be mentioned as great, because he just locks his guy down week after week. So I think that they're going to need that. They're going to have to rely on that in every game this season, and it has improved. They maybe went through a stretch in the Big Ten where it could have been better. It definitely could have been better. Everything could have been better against Minnesota, but even at times against Northwestern, I thought that could have been better. When Nebraska got beat on a few pass plays, I mean, you had the flea flicker, which was well defended, and then the play down the field where USC and Mayava finally got untracked when it was 14-6 and they had the third down and they threw the fade down the field. I mean, to me, that's not on the defensive back. Like, they put a ball in a spot where the guy was going to catch it, and he came back for it and made the catch. It was well executed, but there was almost nothing. The pass interference in the end zone was a big play, but there was almost nothing where you look at it and say Nebraska's defensive backs in coverage didn't handle that moment well. So keep it up.
Let me get you out on this, because and I asked this question for balance of my own thought process, to make sure I'm not too optimistic or too rose-colored or too coached, whatever, right? I'm just looking for balance. How should we, the fan base, kind of reconcile the narratives that because there's a couple of things that I hear, and maybe you do or you don't. So the offensive line is what it is. It's been off the line. Even you referenced the tackle play. Yet they played 9 guys. They played a ton of different positions. They've lost 3 potential starters. So I have to reconcile whether they're actually good or being developed or not. Then there's the other thing about, so we talk defensively, and it's either the undersized line or the linebacking play. And I point to a guy like Javen Wright, who clearly is getting significantly better with as few snaps as he's had, even though he's been there a while. Can there be multiple truths? Is it nuanced? Like, how do we balance what we talk about at the water cooler versus kind of what's actually happening on the field when we talk about development?
Yeah, the injuries at offensive tackle have to be taken into consideration when you look at the development at that position. I do think that they could have been better. The development there could have been better. I mean, you're even with the players being healthy at the beginning of the year, Gunnar Gatula has developed in the program. Teddy and Turner have just been around forever. Not to say that they haven't developed, but it's something that predates the rule time. Tyler Kanak has turned into a guy that you can put out there on the field. Pritchett came in from the outside. And there's a whole handful of young tackles that haven't developed to the point where you're comfortable putting them on the field. So when you're talking about development, I look and you're finding somewhere where you'd really like to see it be better than what it has been. That's where I look first. And it's different at different positions. Like at linebacker, in the 2+ seasons, almost 3 seasons with Rob Dvorak, I think they've done an outstanding job of development. And it's not everybody. Like there's a couple players this year where you can say, what happened there? But with Vincent Shavers and Javen Wright right now, like I think they're playing well. And I think that they've developed through their years at Nebraska under this staff and within this season. So sometimes, the team's 6-3 and they're 3-3 in the Big Ten. And the more check marks there are in that L column, like the more the narrative and like the perception is that, it must be development. They're just not developing well. But, and there are spots like offensive tackle where you can point to, but I think across the board, for the most part, with this team, you do see good progress and development at just about every position on the field.
That's Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, we appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mitch.
That is Mitch Sherman from The Athletic.
Do we want to? I just like perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. Try and round out your information base. It's useful.
Yeah.
Do we want to get to KB? Do we still have him, Shane?
Yeah, let's grab him. Let's grab KB.
KB, what's going on, buddy?
Kyle, you there?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
What's up, buddy? How are we?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh man, my head's above water. I think Ravi L3 is doing all right.
What's up? We're swimming.
Yeah, we're treading water. What's up, bud?
Oh, sorry, I thought I lost you. Hey, it is a proven fact that people get more gratification out of negativity than they do positivity. And I feel like we are all taking hits on that. And some of this stuff going on and being talked about is ridiculous. And people are sounding like Tammy from the trailer park in Tuscaloosa on the Feinbaum show. I mean, we are young. We are young. We're learning. Am I happy with where we're at right now? No, but it's not the end of the world. Some of these people are acting like it's the end of the world. We need to relax. We're doing fine. We'll get there. We'll get a bump from a backup quarterback, but try not to count wins that are lower competition. I mean, we need to grow up. Sorry, guys. Just had to get that off my chest.
Kyle, so let me ask you something, though. Like, is it your own frustration? Like what prompted kind of how you feel? Like where, because you typically don't say a ton. Like what's got you to this point?
Well, no, and what I meant by of course, I was on Ravi's group. Ravi probably remembers. I was in the 10-2 group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought we had chances for that, but so obviously when you don't get there, you get a little disappointed. But I'm not stooping down to a level to where like, oh my God, fire Rule, fire Holgerson, the world's burning. But I'm just more disappointed in how everybody's just wanting to burn it all down when we still have a shot at a damn good season, and that's what's frustrating me more than anything else. And the thing is everybody can say, oh, players don't see it, players don't read. I think they do more than we know. And how are they supposed to be positive on stuff if all that's coming out is toxicity,
All right, KB. I appreciate it.
We appreciate the call, KB. Keep that head above water just like we are, all right?
The balance.
Oh, I'm doing good. I feel bad for you guys because you're dealing more than what I'm even seeing. I don't see all that Nortac stuff and all the other stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to call other people out, but I see what you guys are talking about, and I'm not even seeing as much as you guys. So I think you guys need to. Hey, I'm saying prayers for you guys.
I appreciate that. I probably shouldn't have set the tone with wanting everybody to get along, right? Whether it's MRI and Jake or, everybody kind of going in their bits and shticks on air. And
I think it's real though.
It's like
that's the problem is it's not like you made that up. Like that's all real. And that's all what we're all navigating as a fan base right now. And, I'm talking to Jimmy and I appreciate Jimmy's contributions. Like, the thing that I'm having a hard time with, and I think that everybody is you have a fan base that's experienced something for much longer than this coaching staff and this team has, right? Like the fan base is bringing baggage to this relationship that has nothing to do with the current setup of the team, right?
Carry on.
And I get it, right? I get it because I have that baggage too. I've been here. I remember it all. I was there. And so, I understand that, but at some point you have to separate how you feel about the last 20 years of Nebraska football from what's happening right now, right? Because those are two different things. They're two different things. You can't put anything that happened under Frost, Riley, Pelini, Callahan, Solich, or anybody else, or Osborne for that matter, on Matt Rule. That's not a real thing. You can't put what happened 3 years ago on this team where most of these guys were literally over 75% of this roster was still in high school 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, I understand that it feels different to us because we've got a longer history with the program than the people that are currently running it. I get that. But we can't put that on them. That's not fair to them. It's not fair to us. It doesn't do us any good. Like, I've used this analogy before. Like, when you get out of a bad relationship and you start a new one, you can't bring the baggage from the old relationship to the new person. That's an unfair burden for them to bear, and it has nothing to do with them. It just doesn't. And if you can't let go of that baggage, you'll never get to enjoy the new thing. That's the truth. If you can't get over the thing that's holding you back or the thing that's causing you trauma or whatever it is, you will never have an opportunity to move forward. And I think that's where I get frustrated sometimes. Listen, the last 20 years sucked for me just like it did for everybody else. Like, I'm not isolated from that. Like, that has nothing to do.
I guess I'm a little different.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm all ears.
No, I understand, but I do understand it. For me, it would be like a practical application would be if you're going to spend 20 or 30 or 2 days, or if we're going to spend 72 hours talking about burning 2 timeouts and going through every minuscule detail of processing how somebody was thinking real time, and it dominates the bulk of the conversation without talking about the grand scheme of the game. My point would be, okay, how does spending and burning so much of that time to make sure we accentuate how somebody was wrong or not smart or or whatever it is the desired outcome is. Like, how does that help us against UCLA?
So what is the desired outcome? That's what matters.
That's me.
Right?
Right.
Because
like I want to know, okay, I get it. This thing happened, and it's very, very important. I don't care what your reasons are. They're your own on why you want to spend 2 hours talking about 2 timeouts.
Sure.
I like, how do we get past that to move on to how we can win against UCLA? Because that's how coaches have to think. And so I always think about it like that. Like, all right, well, what's the solution? You got your point out. You can be right about that, but like, do you want it to get better, or do you just like, so maybe that's not for me to worry about, but when you hear the frustration for coming together, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not comfortable reconciling what people bring to the table from being a fan. Like, that's not my interest.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't want to broad brush that. I just want to know, like, when we waste so much time being negative about a particular thing, is it just to prove the point? Is it to illustrate? So
that's a good point.
Because I just want to know, like,
what's your end game?
I want to win against UCLA.
Yes.
I want to move on from UCLA and attack the bye week. Is it important how you do it in the process? I don't know. Like, everybody's different there. But, I'll ask MRI tomorrow. Right? Like what bugged you?
About the way people were acting.
Because I do want to know.
Yeah.
Right? But not to know because I want some grand solution. I just want to know how people think so you can better navigate it going forward. So this is just what we do. Not all shows or platforms. Like, everybody has their own niche for the entertainment that they bring to people that listen to them. I'm well aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I want to know what's best to disseminate for what we do. That's the end game.
I think the big thing here, and you brought up, I think, a really good point, is
that would be rare.
What? Not as rare as you think, just rarer than I give you credit for. I think there is a big difference in people that, as you would say, want their pound of flesh. Like, I think there's people that just want rule.
That aggravates me, so I have to get that out.
No, I know, but I think I genuinely think you're right here, that there are just people that just want Rule to say, yeah, I messed that up, shouldn't have burned those 2 timeouts. I think that's what some people want from this situation. I think other people want from this situation, hey, how can this not happen again, so maybe that we have more timeouts in a late game situation? And then I think there's some people that just want to profit off the negativity. That is their only end game.
That's fine.
And so, like, those are very distinct groups having what seems like a similar conversation in very different ways.
Fair.
Right? Because I'm like you. I want to beat UCLA. If there is
that's my desire. I want to beat UCLA.
I want to beat UCLA, and I want to beat Penn State, and I want to beat Iowa.
I want to know if Nico running the ball and them seeing zone read in practice somehow
will help them.
Somehow neutralizes what Nebraska wants to do against Latif because they see it every day.
Because
that's what I want to know.
I also want to know, does seeing Latif with the ones in practice maybe make them a little bit better against Nico running the ball? Because earlier in the season we said, hey, maybe Nebraska's so good at pass defense because they're seeing a really good quarterback in practice every day. So can it work the other way? Is it short term? Does that work? I don't know.
Not to get you off your point or whatever, but you know what's funny about you saying that? I wonder one thing I'm super interested to see is if knowing that it's designed QB run game, does that change your preparation? Because
I think so.
Because I don't think it's accurate. I don't love the Sorsby Underwood comparison because that's not how those 2 quarterbacks want to operate, nor is Maava. So it's in addition to.
Yeah.
That's different when I want to analyze, can they truly take away a strength? like Sorsby running. I know he's a mobile quarterback,
but that was like a last case scenario.
Yeah,
that was like nothing else is working.
It got to be playgroundy, right?
Yeah.
Like Underwood, when you went empty and you wanted to go +1 with the motion out, okay, that was his longest run. It was 30. That was 34 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Probably caught you off guard. And I said this real time. Tip your hat to Michigan. That's a heck of a play call for how Nebraska likes to play, right?
Incredible.
So for Maeva, like you have a guy for a guy. Jay Moore did it, the breakdown in the huddle. It's the same play that we broke down for Channel 7. You know, whether it's 5 on die, box and spilling, who's got a quarterback player. Now that you know you have a quarterback run game, are you going to continue to try to be good at taking away the strength of what this team wants to do? That will be my next data point for analyzing the kind of job I think Coach Butler's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just funny that you said that because I'm like Nico running the ball. If it sneaks up on Nebraska,
that's a problem.
That's piss poor coaching.
So here's the thing that I think there is a correlation in how I view the game, how I would like to view the game plan between Michigan and Underwood and Nico and UCLA, and that's I would like Nico to try and beat me with his arm.
He's gonna statistics show
not very good at it.
They just don't get vertical in the passing game.
63%,
and they don't try
completion. Which, if you're not getting vertical in the passing game, your completion percentage should be way higher than that.
Yeah.
Right? 63%. He's a 10-7 touchdown to INT guy, which is not good. That's worse than it was last year at Tennessee. I get UCLA is worse.
You want the dirty little secret?
Yeah, go ahead. Less than 200 yards a game.
Their offensive efficiency has gone down since the coaching change every week.
Yeah, the bump. And then,
you were operating in a 51, 52 percentile. Mm-hmm. You've gone down every week. So will the bye week help you because now you got the self-scout and you get healthy? I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things. I don't.
Somebody did say something interesting in the chat about the bye week, though. With having a quarterback that has essentially no significant tape on him, does that negate some of their prep in the bye week? Because I really don't know. I thought maybe, but
so game planning, sure. But if you're a program that's turning the corner, you kind of use the bye week to get better at what you do.
Okay.
So there's always that fine line.
That's like the strength finders, like solidify your strength
being
versus
the best
shoring up
version
your
of
weakness.
ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
But you do have to game plan.
Yeah.
Right.
And
like
the game plan is, I would imagine, different for TJ than Dylan, right?
We're in big trouble health-wise versus Kearney. Huge.
Yeah.
Right? But we still have to find a way.
To game plan.
Versus there's the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's, all right, well, how can we closely resemble who we are?
Yeah. How can we get better with the guys that we have available?
Yeah. So, like,
which is something Nebraska's trying to figure out this week, too.
Right.
Because we don't know what Pritchett looks like. I know they said he practiced some. Don't know what that's going to look like.
When you look at the college football playoffs, does it change? Does it skew the way you think about analyzing the season, or is it separate?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I think sometimes we use that to fuel our whatever the narratives are.
I hadn't really looked at it through that lens, but as I'm looking through here, and
he would never. You know, he's never said that to me. No, I wouldn't say never. He's maybe said it once or twice.
That's a great question.
He did give me the one had a good question, so I appreciate that. I've held on to that for a while. So you've got your kind of usual suspects, and then you've got 14. Virginia is the first ACC team, so they would be in if they win. And then you don't have a ranked Group of 5 team. So the last 2 SEC teams, Texas and Oklahoma, would not be in based on the current rules of setup here. So I kind of look at those teams from like 14 to 20-ish. USC's right in there. They're 19.
Are you encouraged or discouraged that UCLA is where they are based on how Nebraska played them?
USC?
Yeah.
Encouraged.
Okay.
100%.
Carry on.
Michigan's 21. I would say I'm encouraged on that one too.
Okay.
Iowa is 20. I think, obviously we haven't played that game yet. I think that'll look a lot like every other game Nebraska plays against Iowa, where it's going to be super close and super tight, and somebody's going to have to make a play down the stretch, which again encourages me because any of those 3 teams, if they win out, are likely in the college football playoff. In all likelihood, a 10-win Big Ten team probably not getting left out. So I look at that and I go, I find that encouraging because Nebraska is right there with USC. And again, ifs and buts and candies and nuts and whatever, if Dylan Raiola finishes that game, I genuinely believe they win.
Do you remember Foreman's line about being a fifth and we would all be drunk?
I do.
I can't remember his verbiage, but it's funny. It's about it being a fifth, and if it was a fifth.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
I got
the one I remember is Michael Rose Ivy's. It's Monopoly money, but we still spending it.
I saw a neighbor carrying in a 3/5 the other day.
What's 3/5?
It was a big ass bottle of Jack.
Like a 1.75?
I don't know. It was bigger in my head.
My man said 3/5. It had
bigger
to be
in my leg.
It had to be 1.75. That might be the bye weekend for your boy if he ain't careful. Shoot, Brian's worried about my blood pressure. You better be worried about my BA ratio.
I was gonna say worried about your liver.
Hey, where's DB? I don't know. Somewhere in the closet by himself, like George Thorogood.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to Diane Mendenhall of the Omaha Supernovas. They've got their schedule release coming, and the season's right about to kick off. So we'll talk to her coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think Bergen's playing great, and Ace again heavily skews. So we were talking about if we get aced, there's no offensive number with that. So, I think that helps our offensive numbers. It's just a point. But we probably won't talk about it a whole lot. Again, we're pretty focused on ourselves, and that's been really impressive. What this team has done has just been focused on getting better here and there, competing with each other. Not taking opponents for granted, which, I do think there's teams like Oregon is a good example. They're much better than their record, and they can play very clean and got some great players. So I think our players understand how thin the line is this year and every year in volleyball. Like, there's players all over the country that can take over matches and can get hot, and you can find yourself in a pretty tough situation really quick in our sport.
I think we have very good players in the secondary. I think it's a testament to those guys that play. They do a very good job of our guys do a very good job of executing the system and covering themselves in areas that they need to. I give credit to our players. I mean, we knew going in that we had a challenging system to defend, a challenging group of players to defend, and we wanted to make sure that they couldn't figure out, however, they were making ways to try to figure out our coverages, and they go to extreme lengths to try to figure out what we're doing. And so the system we put in place to make sure that they couldn't figure out what we were playing and they couldn't tell the quarterback, I think, is a testament to our players. They're running the ball. They're really doing a really nice job running the ball. In that running game includes the quarterback as a designed runner, also includes the quarterback as a scrambler. If you look at the Penn State game, he probably had 80 yards in critical scramble yards. He scrambles on third downs for first down. He's athletic as hell, tall, fast. So they want to run the football, and that's just kind of really everybody we've seen this year that's kind of been their mantra. So that's what they've been doing well. I think they're averaging close to 180 yards a game rushing since they made the change at coordinator. So we're going to have to do a good job of defending the run and knowing where the quarterback is when he drops back.
At Centris Federal Credit Union, we have the tools and resources to help our members fulfill their financial goals, with a focus on building a stronger community for the next generation of leaders. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Diane. Oh, okay, just kidding.
How do you think we can hear you?
We're going to be joined in just a minute by Diane Mendenhall of the Omaha Supernovas to start previewing the schedule that just got released for the Omaha Supernovas this season, year 3 of the Supernovas. It'll be a great year. You've got some new faces involved.
Yeah.
You got old John Cook involved with the Supernovas now.
You mean old as an apostrophe?
Yeah.
O-L?
Yeah. No, he's got more energy than I do.
Yeah.
I'm not casting dispersions by any means.
Just checking.
Let's get to our guest here, Diane Mendenhall. Diane, how we doing this morning?
I'm awesome. How are you guys?
Good to hear from you. How you been?
Just, living in crazy land here, but excited for this season to kick off and training camp to start. So that's when the fun really starts.
Well, at least we're in the same neighborhood, Crazy World. I mean, we're probably neighbors.
Isn't that why we love sports?
Well, I think every now and again I have to double check.
Well, I always tell people, they said, well, tell us about your job. And I said, it's 90% exciting and 10% terrifying. And some days those flip.
That's about right.
Yeah, I try and avoid the terrifying part of the job. Me personally, that's not what I'm in it for.
That's about right.
The terrifying makes it fun. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I do like that, right? We're competitive, which is where you want this organization to be. So as it kind of sits up in year 3, what were kind of the biggest obstacles as you kind of transition and a little bit of change, but you've been so successful as an organization. So what was that balance like for you?
It's interesting too, shifting now to where we got 2 leagues merging. And so you're a startup, you're hitting season 3 where you're just constantly pivoting. And I think what is so exciting in navigating this is, number 1, every day is different. Number 2, just the opportunity to achieve something that's never been done in the U.S. To this magnitude. And then number 3, just I think the outpouring of support. It's like throwing a party and you wonder if anyone will come. And for Omaha, for the state, for the region to respond has just been unbelievable.
Diane, speaking of the state, you guys added a little bit of excitement by throwing maybe the most famous volleyball personality in the country into the mix this year with John Cook. What's it meant to have him on board with the Supernovas this year?
Well, it's wonderful to reconnect with him. He's the one that brought me to Nebraska when he came, back in 2000. And, just the opportunity to work for him for 4 years and build what we, just kind of build that basis that we had, and now to reconnect and then have him take our organization. When we think about what we've done, we want to grow every single year, and we challenge our staff. If everybody can give 1% more, you're looking at 12, 13, 14% growth, and adding him gives us about 20%. And it just, in regards to him, for him to have this opportunity to take what he did at the collegiate level and then just elevate it at the pro level. And, the United States should be the superpower in volleyball, and we haven't necessarily that crown. And it's time that we get there as a nation, and to have him and his vision, his philosophy, his ideas, his creativity, and his work ethic is very exciting, and we're very blessed to have him.
Let me ask you something, because with the connection and the success that the Novas have already had, then you kind of transition into a new landscape. You want some consistencies of what you've done because you have the know-how. How fine a line is it between what you're willing to change and evolve to, even though you kind of have a good blueprint of how to navigate it previously?
Yeah, that's a great point, because it's always a struggle too. It's easy to kind of rest on your laurels, but complacency is not our friend. And I think that's what drives our entire front office team is we have to continually improve. And it's so exciting this year. If you just look at our roster is elevated too. This is the most decorated roster we've ever had. You'll see this year at the CHR on our team where, we have the most outstanding hitter in the league last year. We have the most outstanding libero. We have the most outstanding setter. So just in those three positions, we have the best of the league and the best of the country. You'll see, Morgan Hentz will probably be the starting libero in the 2028 Olympics. And so you see the elevation there. And then you see also what's happened at CHI. You're going to come in, that brand new center hung board, all the new electronics that they've put in. It's just going to be even a bigger show.
Diane, and you mentioned it is year 3 of the team, but you've got kind of the merging of the leagues as well. So it kind of has a year 1 feel also. What's the thing you're looking forward to most as we get we're down to about 8 weeks before the first match here?
I think just how everything will be elevated. And that was the whole intent of, the MLV formation and then eventually the merger, is that understanding that we have to follow the blueprint that we saw in the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and make sure that we're structured that way. And, that's the bar that we've set for ourselves. And now that we're structured that way, we have the ownership groups that are even investing more. The new teams that are coming forward, when you talk about the Sacramento Kings coming in with the team, so you got you got NBA behind you, and then DC United purchasing a franchise. So you have the MSL coming in. There's going to be another team named here in the coming weeks that, represent another league.
Oh.
And so you see the interest of all these major leagues. I know. Yeah, there's a teaser for you.
You want to give us a little spoiler? Can you give us a little hint?
Oh.
Okay, that's all you get.
Okay.
All right.
Fine.
Yeah,
Could you
call
tell
me
us
that
what
one.
league it's from?
We'll be better behaved.
All right.
We're sorry.
We'll try not to get you into any trouble, Diane, but that is a good teaser. We will keep our ears perked up for that one as well. But Diane, I'm sure we will talk to you plenty throughout the year, but thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Diane.
That's Diane Mendenhall of the Omaha Supernovas. They are getting things ramped up and ready to go.
I said maybe.
Big Oasis guy, huh?
No. Well, how about BC with the Breakfast Club reference?
Which one was that? Did I miss it?
Simple Minds.
Oh,
Don't you forget about me.
That is the show for today. We do have a
two.
little extra special content coming up that we had recorded before to help get basketball season underway as well. So stick around on the stream and you'll get a conversation with Mike Sauter and myself, and with myself and Rico, to talk about Nebraska basketball. Go ahead and stick around, check it out. There'll be a little bit more Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next. Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. It is time for Nebraska Shoot-Around with our guy Mike Sauter here. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much. Nebraska men's basketball got a game in.
We're underway.
Yeah.
The college basketball season is underway.
A very real game happened.
Yes, it's definitely did not sound like an exhibition still against a team called West Georgia, which I definitely knew existed before yesterday.
I did not until I saw it on the schedule. And then I was like, wait, let me look this up. Second year of existence, second year playing Division I basketball.
Yeah, I was 100% sure when I looked at their schedule and I was like, all right, BYU exhibition, that makes sense. Midland exhibition, that makes sense. West Georgia exhibition, that makes. Oh wait, that one's real.
Yeah.
It certainly felt real to Nebraska in the first half yesterday, where they were struggling to shoot the ball.
Scary.
30 to 25 at halftime. As you're kind of digesting this, was there any part of you that was like, yeah, these are some of the fears that you have about this Nebraska team if they don't play well, or was it totally out of character?
No, I think it was more like they'll be fine.
Just first game,
yeah,
right out the gate.
I think they probably
because they didn't shoot the ball for anything.
No,
in the first
and
half.
that's probably going to happen with this team a little bit. I do think that it is going to be very rare that you're going to see everybody, the whole team, shoot poorly.
Yeah,
and they ended up not, right? Like, so Braden Frager ended up having a day. So it's one of those things where that wing kind of shooter position.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Price Sanford, Connor Season, Braden Frager in that group.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt there'll be a game where all three of them shoot under 35% from three.
Yeah.
Like that's just can't, that's just, I don't know. They're too good of shooters to do that. So,
I mean, combined 3 for 17 from three.
Yeah.
Out of that game, mostly carried by. Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. It is time for Nebraska Shoot-Around with our guy Mike Sauter here. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much. Nebraska men's basketball got a game in.
We're underway.
Yeah.
The college basketball season is underway.
A very real game happened.
Yes, it's definitely did not sound like an exhibition still against a team called West Georgia, which I definitely knew existed before yesterday.
I did not until I saw it on the schedule. And then I was like, wait, let me look this up. Second year of existence, second year playing Division I basketball.
Yeah, I was 100% sure when I looked at their schedule and I was like, all right, BYU exhibition, that makes sense. Midland exhibition, that makes sense. West Georgia exhibition, that makes. Oh wait, that one's real.
Yeah.
It certainly felt real to Nebraska in the first half yesterday, where they were struggling to shoot the ball.
Scary.
30 to 25 at halftime. As you're kind of digesting this, was there any part of you that was like, yeah, these are some of the fears that you have about this Nebraska team if they don't play well, or was it totally out of character?
No, I think it was more like they'll be fine.
Just first game,
yeah,
right out the gate.
I think they probably
because they didn't shoot the ball for anything.
No,
in the first half.
that's probably going to happen with this team a little bit. I do think that it is going to be very rare that you're going to see everybody, the whole team, shoot poorly.
Yeah,
and they ended up not, right? Like, so Braden Frager ended up having a day. So it's one of those things where that wing kind of shooter position. So you have Price Sanford, Connor Esiason, Braden Frager in that group. I doubt there'll be a game where all three of them shoot under 35% from three.
Yeah.
Like they're too good of shooters to do that. So,
I mean, combined 3 for 17 from three.
Yeah.
Out of that game, mostly carried by Sanford and Sanford and Esiason were 1 for 12
right.
of that group, right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure, hey, probably not going one, especially Sanford. We've seen what he's
can
done.
Really shoot it. So.
We've seen a little bit with Esiason be streaky last year, so I don't totally know. Like, yeah, there might be some of those in there where he struggles, but to have both of those guys not shoot the ball well at the same time probably isn't going to happen a ton this year.
Yeah, and Frager was 2 of 5 from three,
which is fine. Like, you'll take that
every day, right? So, and his ability to really straight line driver, get downhill, and uses athleticism as something. So they used a big run in the second half to kind of blow the doors off. So it's good.
Talk to me about Braden Frager a little bit here, because I'll be honest, I wasn't sure really what to expect from him coming out of the redshirt year, what his role was going to be. Obviously, they brought in a ton of transfers, had some guys returning as well. I wasn't really sure what to expect of him from this year. What are you expecting from Frager?
So I've seen Frager play.
Yeah, for a long time.
Like probably 50 games in his life, I'm guessing, from when he was playing 15U AAU basketball to 16U to 17U, all along the way, and high school games. The year off certainly helped him physically. Grew.
He looks different,
like way bigger, stronger.
Looks way different.
Not just physically, I think mentally it helped him too. He matured a lot, and that was kind of part of the plan of him. Remember, he left high school a year early, reclassified up. Which is rare, and like we've not seen
for guys that aren't super high.
A top 5 player or something.
Sure,
but so that kind of, I'm not going to call it a gamble, but that decision has paid off.
Sure,
it looks like it's paid off so far because
getting into
really
a college
good
weight room sooner, college nutrition sooner. Yeah.
So it was really good to see him. I think one thing in post game after the West Georgia game, he mentioned seeing the shots go in against Midland really helped his confidence.
Absolutely.
And he does not lack for confidence.
Sure.
But
it's just different in games, right? Especially when you haven't played for a really long time.
Right.
That's a big deal.
He's a very confident player, very confident kid, believes he can do things like he did against West Georgia every night.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd rather have guys like that than not on my team.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That's one of those positives for him. He's, like I said, straight line driver, really athletic, really can get up and dunk and like run the floor and do all that. Yeah, caught an alley-oop and all that stuff. So he brings a lot to the table. It's a matter of like, can he consistently do it against the better teams that he hasn't played against in his life?
Yeah,
right?
just never had that opportunity.
So, Yeah, that position is very interesting because you got those three.
Yeah,
and it's kind of interchangeable, really. Like Braden's the most athletic for sure of those three, but they bring different things.
Yeah.
Right. Price will have good games where he shoots
lights out of the ball.
Yeah. And so
we saw that against Nebraska. last year, right?
So will Connor Season. So it's kind of how you manage those minutes, or can you play two of those three at the same time? You might give up a little defensively, but at the same time, they're going to guard you.
That's what I'll find super interesting.
Yeah,
right?
like how does that kind of work, right?
Like how much does Hoiberg want to lean into the upside of his offensive potential of this roster versus trying to make sure they can still defend at a high level? Like
that's going to be
super interesting.
Nebraska defensively does the last handful of years have done a tremendous job of playing team defense. Now, like they kind of hid Keisei Tominaga and team defense around him, and like we're able to just kind of put him in a corner or something. They really did.
Yeah,
and then,
really.
And really drive things into the middle, and you have Rink there and Berke Buchtenjo there, and like you have those players to kind of defend. They're not massive shot blockers, but they're physical enough where they can kind of get up. They are you can, watching them play, they teach, and you can see that they teach just the verticality. Just get in there, go vertical, don't move.
Yeah.
And if they score, they score, but 9 times out of 10, probably 7 out of 10, you're living with that every day. So that's how they're going to have to play defense, is that team defense, because they don't have like Sam Hoiberg's probably their defensive like stopper guy, but he's still, physical limitations.
I say undersized a little bit, and there's going to be guys that are more athletic than he is.
Right, especially when you get to league play, and a lot of teams are just downhill guys at the point
big physical,
point guard situation. So that'll be interesting how that works out, I think. But as far as, hey, got a big win, a little scary in the first half. Nebraska still in the last couple years, 3 so far this year, hasn't had that dud of a loss that they traditionally have.
Yeah.
And that's the formula. Like, you just can't have one of those.
Beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yes.
Give yourself a chance in conference play.
Yeah. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Beat Oklahoma.
That's a big one.
In Sioux Falls in 2 weeks. And then go to Kansas City, beat New Mexico. It was kind of a rebuilding kind of bunch. And then beat Mississippi State or K-State. Or if you go 1-1 Kansas City, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you got to beat Oklahoma. Of those 3,
got to beat Oklahoma.
I think so the 4 bigger non-conference games is Oklahoma, New Mexico, and then Mississippi State or K-State, and Creighton.
Yeah.
Split those 4.
Go
you're
2-2.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go 0-4, now we got a problem.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But if you split those 2, I think you're good.
Give yourself a chance.
Anything more than that, awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because they're going to hover around that 50 in KenPom and net rating stuff all year. They're going to be a bubble. That's like their bubble formula that they've had the last 2 years.
Try and go about 500 in conference.
Yeah. Be at worst 8-12.
Yeah.
In conference.
At best, probably 12-8.
12-8. Yeah. They're going to be right in that heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's where they need to be.
And that gives you a shot.
Yeah.
To be on the bubble.
Then you'll be bubble, net rating team. Like last year, they were still kind of, until the last couple of games, still like very bubble. Yeah. And they only they didn't even make the tournament, the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
They're still bubble
the
team.
Last 2 weeks of the season for sure.
Yeah.
Very much in it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the same formula this year.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see if they are able to split those key non-conference games the way you talked about. Real quick here before we go, a couple of guys returning to this team from different things, right? Jamarcus Lawrence transfers, comes back. Rink Mast hurt, comes back. How big is it to have those guys back on the roster from 2 years ago?
Oh, I think Rink is huge.
Yeah, right.
Just from not only obviously he's a little slower and not as athletic. He wasn't super athletic anyway, but just from stabilizing force, that's what he is.
Yeah.
And you can lead with your words and verbally and stuff if you're on the bench and you're injured, but it's different than when you're on the court. So it's different. And he brings that different dimension of you can play him at the high post and
run a little
stretch him out. Yeah, he can initiate offense for you. He can even bring it up if you need, So it's the the multi-ball handler system that they got is anybody really can bring it up and initiate it. And Jamarcus is great. He's a super culture guy. Knows, obviously very familiar with the culture, and he got a little better at Rhode Island. Like
I think so.
So he was 5 of 8 from 3.
Listen,
I'll take that with him.
I don't think you're going to get that
every day
all year, but if he can show that he's an improved and a shooter that you have to honor in terms of guarding him, that's going to be a huge difference.
He was 5 of 8 from 3, 6 of 10 from the field, and had 6 assists.
Yeah, I mean that's a great
amazing game for him.
It's a great game. He was second leading scorer with 18 points. Yeah, right after Frager.
He is, and I will say this about the basically everybody on the team. They're all great, like good human culture people like that. Like I would say
it seems like
95% of them are.
It seems like chemistry has been a big shift
thing with them
over the last few years as Fred Hoiberg started to turn the corner a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of those early Hoiberg teams, the chemistry seemed strange at best. Seems like that's been a major shift in the last couple of years.
It's good. Like I think it's a positive. And last year they had a little cracks in it, and this year hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone kind of knows their role and what they're doing. They're really connected, I feel like, so far. So
and that's undervalued in basketball.
Right. Yeah, they're a pretty unselfish team. Talking with Rink, I did a sit-down interview with Rink. You can find it on Hale Varsity's YouTube, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But did a sit-down with Rink, and I asked him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, we're pretty unselfish. We like each other. Like we know everyone knows what people can do and what they can't and what they're capable of." So, and in this transfer portal era, that's important. So
and more rare than it used to be.
Yeah, 100%.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, that is Mike Sauter for our Nebraska shoot-around. We're going to talk to Rico here in just a minute to talk about Nebraska women's basketball. He'll be on that beat this year as well. But Mike, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you Friday for our regular prep segment, and then we'll let's do this again next week.
Yeah, let's do.
All right, that's Mike Sauter for Nebraska shoot-around. We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Live right after this. All right, welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. This is a little extra Nebraska shoot-around with our guy Enrique Alvarez-Clary, or as I like to call him, Rico. Rico, you're going to be on the Nebraska women's basketball beat this year, and they got their season off to a close, hard-fought victory.
It was tough.
It was, a real nail biter, 103-46 over Northwestern State Lady Demons.
Yeah, it was a close one.
I didn't throw the lady in there. That is what they call themselves. Yes. Nebraska with a cool 57-point win to start the season off.
Yes, and it was sort of Kids Day. There was a lot of middle school students from around the state of Nebraska who were there. There was a pep rally before the game. Amy Williams and a bunch of other athletes from other sports, including women's basketball, were there to speak to the students. And then they stuck around and watched the game and were extremely excited for Nebraska versus Northwestern State, some of them taking in their first D1 women's basketball action. And they were treated to a really good one. At the beginning of the game, it started off a little bit back and forth as both teams were trying to find their footing, and Nebraska just started putting the defensive clamps down on Northwestern State, went to a full court press pretty early in the first quarter, and that proved to be very, very good for them as they were getting steal after steal, fast break buckets. Brit Prince started off extremely quickly scoring, and that's something that Amy Williams mentioned in the postgame presser, is that when Brit Prince starts fast and starts scoring to open up games for Nebraska, it really opens up the rest of the offense. And we got a lot of looks at some of the new transfers that came in for Nebraska. But overall, just a very impressive performance, both offensively and defensively. Honestly, I was more impressed with Nebraska's defense, but their offense was pretty close.
So here's the thing I always kind of struggle with games of this type, which we see on the men's side, on the women's side, a lot early in the basketball season, is what's real, what's portable.
That's a hard one to...
What translates, right? Because, it's Northwestern State. You're like, yeah, let's full court press them and get a million steals and stops. And it's like, yeah, that seems like a great idea against Northwestern State. What does that look like for the rest of the season? I know that's not a question you can totally answer, but how much of that do you think Nebraska is going to try to implement through the rest of the season?
I think through the rest of the season that they're going to maybe not a full court press, maybe picking teams up at half court, especially with the skill that is in the Big Ten. Really from coast to coast, you've got UCLA. USC is still going to be really good, although Juju Watkins isn't going to be playing this season. UCLA is really good, and then you go to the East Coast, you've got Maryland, who's a really good squad. So really from coast to coast in the Big Ten, you're going to be facing some bigger, talented, fast guards and bigs. So Nebraska, really, their defensive efforts, and it's something that they really harp on this season and in other seasons. That's kind of Amy Williams' specialty, is she really wants her teams to be good defensively. And taking much away from this Northwestern State game, like you said, you can't really do much with that. Yeah. But the intensity that they played with, the way that they were closing out on shooters, the way that they were extremely active with their hands and boxing out, getting to the ball before it even hits the ground for rebounds, that's something that, regardless of who you play, I understand that it's maybe a lower level and they might not have the skill, but that want to, that grit, that fight, that's something that translates regardless of who you're playing.
So talk to me about the starters and rotation for Nebraska. Obviously, they're probably not going to go 11 deep against most teams. You had 10 different players get at least 16 minutes. What do you think that looks like? Do you think they're still trying to find what that looks like moving forward?
Well, so the issue, and not really an issue, the thing is that they are without 2 starters still, potentially 3 starters still, as Allison Widener, who injured herself again, unfortunately, last season, is going to be out for maybe half of the season. And that's the same with Natalie Potts, who tore her ACL pretty early into last season. She's still not ready. We'll see if they get her back, December, January, whenever. I believe that they might be getting her back before or right at the beginning of conference play.
Yeah, I think
that's 2 extremely important pieces right there. And then one of the transfers from Kansas State, Eliza Maupin, I believe I'm saying that right. I could be saying that wrong. The senior 6'3" forward that they got transferred in from Kansas State. She didn't play as well. She was in. She wasn't, dressed in like the jersey, but she was wearing the team issued gear, and I believe she had a brace on her knee. Okay. I don't remember. I don't recall if there was any mention of her being injured and missing this season. But if they do get her back, I believe she's going to play a big role on this team as well. So you've got 3 very important pieces who didn't play and won't play for a while, but the starters that they had, Petra Bojan, Jessica Petrie, Brit Prince, Callan Hake, Haley Weaver, all put on an amazing show. And then having Claire Johnson coming off the bench, the way that she and Amy Williams mentioned this in the post-game pressers, they brought her in, and her skill set was mostly like, she's a 3-point shooter. Like, she's going to be hitting deep range shots. She's going to be getting you 3 points. That's where most of her shots are going to come from. She says when they were going through their camps early in the season, she went home and told her husband, she's more than a 3-point shooter. Like, she's got a quick first step. She's going to be extremely good scoring in all facets of the game. But also, her defense was elite against Northwestern State. She was getting a ton of steals against Northwestern State. So that's going to be another thing. She'll be one of the more important pieces off of the bench. Logan Nisley, we know what she can do coming out of North Dakota. She's also a sniper, and she's kind of a backup point guard for them. But the starting lineup with Petra Bojan there, Petra Bojan and Jessica Petrie in the post, their skill sets there and being able to hit mid-range and deep shots. Like, you lost Alexis Markowski, who was extremely important to that team for 4 years. You can't take anything away from her, but still having bigs who can get into the paint, create their own shot from the post, but also stretch the court and hit threes. That's a welcome sight from Petrie, the player from Australia, and Petra Bojan also from overseas. So having those 2, and then Brit Prince, like I mentioned earlier, her skill set and being able to score from damn near anywhere on the court, that's going to help as well. And Callan Hake, the deep range sniper, and also one of the better defenders on the team.
What are you expecting from Brit Prince as she transitions from freshman year, trying to get everything under her feet, and this now? Where do you see her development going in her second year in the program?
Well, as the season went on last year, you kind of saw her getting more comfortable playing, in college, playing against bigger, stronger players. Early she was coming in, 4 straight state championships, the best player in the state, a 5-star guard, getting recruited from everywhere except for South Carolina was offering her a scholarship. Everybody wanted her. She chose to stay home and go to Nebraska. And you could see maybe the pressure early in the season as she was trying maybe to push it a little bit too much. But as the season went on, she found her footing, and it did help that she had Alexis Markowski down there in the post to kind of dump that off and go to work, and a lot of teams were focusing on her. But I really think that her scoring output is probably going to go up this season with the addition of a who was it? I believe it's Haley Weaver coming in and playing some point for them as well. That's going to go a long way for Nebraska, and Haley being able to guard the other team's best guard. So then Brit doesn't have to not waste energy, but kind of tire herself out chasing around one of the better guards or any of the better guards in the Big Ten on defense and then having to go to work on offense. I think her scoring output really is going to go up. And as Amy Williams said, when she starts quick and she looks to score, that's going to open things up, and then she'll be able to dish the rock around to whoever else. That is Nebraska women's basketball start to the season with a nice, cool 103-46 victory over Northwestern State. We'll keep checking in with Rico throughout the season. You should have heard the crowd when they hit 67. It was ridiculous. We're going to stop now. That's Rico. It's Nebraska Shoot Around. That's a little extra Hurrdat Sports Live for you. We will do this every week with Nebraska and with Creighton on Wednesdays and Thursdays, respectively. We will talk to you tomorrow.